I'm on my way through. What up? What up? Welcome to the live. My name is Brother Legend. I'm here to raise your consciousness. Peace to all the world. Sisters, brothers, others, friends, enemies. What's going on? Back at it again. Absolutely. Share the live. Share the live. We want to have people come up and answer some of these questions. 2 of these questions. At least one. No isms, phobias. Treat each other with respect. We're going to ask you your age, race, and pronouns when you come up. R.I.P. Sonia Massey, absolutely. Justice for Sonia Massey. Justice for Sonia. Peace, Detroit. I thought about making a video about another video about Sonia. I seen the footage and all that stuff. Just a shame, man. Yeah. I hope y'all are angry. I hope y'all are upset. Hope y'all are angry. I don't know what she was making in that pot. It's a shame. For those of you that don't know, Sonia Massey is a 39-year-old sister. Or she 36? I guess 6s and 9s mixed up. But she called the police because she was 36. Thank you, thankful. She called the police because she felt there was an intruder in her home. Police got there, asked her for her ID, which I thought was weird off rip. Why are they asking her for her ID in her home? She called the police. Why is she looking for her ID? What she needed an ID for? So that was like the beginning of that movie Get Out, when they get pulled over and he asked the brother for his ID and he's like, I'm a passenger. Like, it's weird, you know? I mean, it's not weird, but it's you know. Anyway, she had a pot boiling water on the stove. Peace, thanks for the gifts. Unam. And so she goes over. They asked her to go over and take care of the pot. Made a joke about not wanting the fire department to need to come too. She goes over, starts the cold water to pour the pot of boiling water down the sink. The police officer says something. What did he say? He said something. I forgot what he said, but he said something, and she just says, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," basically saying, "Oh no, that I don't want that to happen." About the water or something. Something small. And she's just joking around. Whenever black people say, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," they're just joking. And then the police officer also had Schmittler, German Schmati tattoos on his arm. Both of them did. Both of them had Schmati tattoos. And they unalived that sister. Pew pew 3 times in the face. And then reported it and said it was self-inflicted. The police didn't want to release the footage. And eventually they were caught. And they have since released that footage. It is on the internet now. How can we say interracial relationships in a world where black women are not protected, even when there's an intruder in their home, are ethical? Why will y'all fight over relationships, but not for justice and equality? Y'all will come up in the stage. I'm sure they're going to come. And they will fight me. They will spit all over their phones, yelling to try to get access to black bodies. But they won't fight those that harm black bodies. Appreciate you. The reason we talk about interracial relationships is because it's the most lighthearted way to talk about a much deeper problem. We're on TikTok. So, if I could run this how I wanted to run this would be a whole different live. But there are 10 areas of people activity. And the one that gets looked over the most is love. Something that we feel like some black people feel like they can have love in the same world where Sonia Massey is unalived within a few minutes of the police arriving. They can have love with their oppressor. And then there's people on the other side that feel like they have a right to be with whoever they want. So, Kamala Harris has a white tee man, and she does what white tee men tell her. You know what I'm saying? What message do you think it sends to black little girls if the first black woman president has a white husband? What message do you think that sends to black little girls? The same message that was sent to black little girls and women on the plantation. That if you warm their beds, you'll get higher up on the ladder. If you want to be like the first, black woman president, little Shakisha, then guess what? You got to be like her all the way. Flat iron that hair, get them kinks out. Get that little corny laugh together. Get your laugh right. You don't want to scare them laughing like you mean it. You know the reason why when black people laugh, they run? Have you ever noticed that? They run and laugh at the same time. Like they'll start laughing and then start ducking and hiding, just cracking up. That's because we weren't allowed to laugh on the plantation. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. When you go to work and you code switch, you don't laugh the same laugh you do with your family. Let's be honest. A lot of the sisters know. 'Cause y'all got that little cute laugh, that high pitched laugh. You know? So, what does it tell our black young sisters if they want to achieve, because it's always going to be looked at as an achievement to be in the Oval Office. I think we shouldn't even be teaching our children that, to be honest. We need to teach our children that Kamala Harris is an imperialist. We need to teach our children Kamala Harris is a traitor to her people and an imperialist. Let's be honest with our kids. So is Donald Trump. Don't y'all MAGA up my comments with some mess. These are faces of the system. They're puppets of the broader system. They're just two different faces of the same ugly monster. So we don't have to blame Donald Trump or blame Kamala. They're not the ones doing the damage. The Klan, the people that unalived Sonia Massey, those people, Marcus Garvey called the secret government of America. They're the government in the shadows. Project 2025 is your government. Everything else is politics. That's where the word polite comes from. Politics is when you're in the presence of other people that might have different ideas than you, and you find a way to communicate with them in a way that won't be hostile. But you still have your same intentions. But, you just find a better way to get it across. That's why they don't like the word politically correct, because that means you have to be polite. Politics, politeness. They don't like that stuff. They want to keep it a thou wow. They'd much rather keep it a bean with you. I'd much rather that too. I'd much rather not have Finlipians come on my panel and ask for an education and I sit here and teach them something. I sit here and teach them how to infiltrate black spaces by coming around and say, I do my daughter's hair. I do my biracial daughter's hair. Yes, I use hair grease on their hair so that y'all can say, ooh, Becky coming to the cookout. She know about the hair. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and teach them how to infiltrate our spaces by saying the right thing because they ain't going to change. Who understands that racism, once it is something that has been internalized by a child, if it is not rooted in, if as long as racism has already been taught inherently to a white child, by the time they are 15, it is no going back after that. That's why they tried to put CRT in the schools. After the age of 15, you are not going to change them to somehow see you as human. After their whole life, they looked at you as next to an animal. That's like if you were to find out right now that every roach or every mosquito you've ever swatted and unalived was a family member. If every roach you've ever stomped on was a family member, you might believe it for like a few minutes, but then next time you see one of them, you're going to squash it. And you're just going to say, you know what, man, whatever. You would have had to have learned that at a young age in order to love roaches. I'm not saying we're roaches, but I'm saying that's how they see us. How many people understand that in our community? Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. says they look at us like toilet bowls. They look at us like a toilet. That was his analysis. something to be used in secret, to be used, first of all, necessary to be used, second of all, and then to be put off in secret, like in in the shame area. But of course, we don't look at ourselves that way. And we think because we see ourselves with humanity that obviously everyone else sees it that way too. That's not how they looked at Sonia Massey. Y'all look her story up, Sonia Massey. The video's out there. Took me back to like the Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, Mike Brown days. I mean, there's been other upsetting footage. Sister Takia, I think it was Takia Robinson. I think that was her name. Ajike Owens. These are three sisters. It's wild. And so you're telling me in a world where black women are being put down in their own kitchen, a black woman is running for president. You see how white supremacy talk out of both sides of its ass? Because they're gonna tell y'all Kamala Harris is black. Because in the lineup of white men that have lived in the White House and been in the Oval Office, she's black to them. You know, no matter how biracial someone is, when they're in a room full of white folks, they black. They got anything black to them. Joe Biden said his running mate in 2020 was going to be a black woman. And then he chose Kamala Harris. And she's been black ever since. So, something to think about. We got Sonia Massey getting unalived in her own house. And meanwhile, a woman with a white husband is running for president. So, young black girls, what do you need to protect yourself? What do you need to do to not end up like Sonia Massey? What do you need to align yourself with? Who do you need to align yourself with in order to not end up like Sonia Massey? Would Sonia Massey have been in as much danger if she had a white tea husband there in the room with her? Definitely don't allow ops in your home. I heard that. That ain't never going down in my house. That ain't never I'm the police in my house, okay? I'm the police in here. Brothers, protect our women, man. Protect our women. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just the police in my house. I'm the police for my whole family. Ain't nobody getting touched in my house, my family. I'm the police in the vicinity of any black woman. I'll put it that way. Ain't no sister getting touched around me. But definitely don't call on them. I heard that, life is a beach. Because when you invite the devil in your home, the results are going to be hell. Appreciate you, Truth. Come on up. Don't be shy. Come on up. Don't get shy now. I came here for many reasons, but I did not come to play. If anybody wants to come up here and talk, To the questions above me, feel free. Are interracial relationships unethical? Are interracial dating preferences prejudice? Interracial dating preferences, of course, being a preference for a race outside of your own social group, racial social group. I think Kim Kardashian has a preference. That's why I put her up here. I'm pretty sure. Like, other than Pete Davidson, which he's about as black as white can get, you know what I'm saying? You know, he's kind of a weirdo. Um, but yeah, so he don't got no melanin, but he puts as much ink on his skin as he can. That's what they do when they want to be black. Um, yeah, so case in point with the tattoo point, Post Malone. Look how many tattoos he got. You can't tell me he don't want to be black. His first song was White Iverson. Why he couldn't just be Iverson? You know, he had to let you know I'm White Iverson. I want to be a black man. I just have to let you know I'm white though. You know? And now look at all the tattoos. A fourth grade school desk.
You're what's
What's
up, man?
going on? Hey, give us
Hey,
your age,
that's
race, and pronouns, please.
age, race, and pronouns. I forgot about that part. Um, I'm 65. No, I'm just kidding. I'm 32. I'm black, American. I was born and raised in America, and my pronouns. I don't know how to do this. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm a man that likes women, so I don't know what that pronoun is.
So pronouns are like
I'm
he,
I'm I'm
she.
I'm, I'm, I, I'm genetically a man. I feel like a man, and I date women. So I don't know what that pronoun is.
All right, I'll help you figure it out. So there's three options: he, she, or they. If I were to
He,
call you,
I'm he.
okay. All right, cool.
I'm he. I
All right,
guess.
talk to us.
So interracial relationships. Wow. For a long time, I only dated black women, and then I was like, well, there's more to life. You know, if something doesn't
Really?
work out, it doesn't mean that that entire race is thrown in the trash. It just means you had an experience and it just happened to be that particular race. So if you run into somebody that likes you that's of another race or of another ethnicity and you try that out, you're just experiencing life at that point. Some people say, oh, this race is bad because I had a bad experience. And then they go to another race and it's like, oh, this race is bad because I had a bad experience. Where's the accountability? You see what I'm saying? When we talk about like self work, because I don't think interracial relationships are unethical. Some people feel like, if you date a race outside of your race, then you're not for your race. That you're saying that your race isn't good. It's like a self hate thing.
All right. So you're saying your race, and I'm just gonna assume you mean your race, right? Black.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
when you say your race, you're speaking very general. So that's not a sentiment that we would apply to every race.
right.
However, as a black person, self hatred, yeah, you're gonna get that accusation.
That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like it's unethical. When we talk about ethics, unethical to what? I'm trying to
I,
answer the
I,
question,
I can
but
answer that.
yeah,
So, would you say that a if R. Kelly wanted to be in a relationship with a little girl, would you say that's unethical?
yes, I would say it's unethical
Okay. How come you didn't ask me what the definition of ethical was in that scenario?
because clearly, when it comes to the morals and values, if we look at it, at the end of the day, we all know that all real. I'm not going to say real, but any adult that has a moral compass would say that person is too young and an adult should not be dating that person. They're clearly, their
Why?
brain isn't developed. They're more malleable. Clearly,
Okay,
we
all
can
right.
see
So their
why you
brain
want
isn't
to take that
developed,
person.
and R. Kelly's brain is more developed, right?
You said in his brain?
Yeah. So you're saying their brain is not developed, right? As a child, their
Yeah,
cognitive function is not all
right.
the way
They're
there,
more.
right?
They're so easy to manipulate. It's like why you're a predator at that point. You're a
Easily
predator.
manipulated.
You're a predator.
Do you feel like white T people are at an advantage in society over black people?
An advantage in what sense? Because
And when it comes to, say, economics or employment, like, do you believe that white people have more wealth?
well, I mean, we gotta take into account nepotism and the fact that
Can we just
they
answer the
ran us
question?
for a
Let's
while.
not dance. I hate dancing. I like dancing with music, but no music, I don't like it. Like, just answer the question. Do you believe, and you can say no, do you believe that in the area of economics and employment, that white people have an advantage over black people?
No,
Okay.
no,
All right. And do you believe that the average white household has more wealth than the average black household?
yes.
So how did they get that wealth if they don't have an advantage in economics or employment?
That's a good question. So they got the wealth from us literally being slaves, and what that means is we built the infrastructure for whatever this is that they built on our backs as black people. So yes, they have an economic advantage because all the wealth was pushed to them, and none of it was was at our level. Like none of it was given to us. So yes, they have an economic advantage because they were on the top of the mountain, and they're trying to maintain that position like anyone else would. If I could have a person for free just living in my house, making sure everything is clean all the time and cooking all my meals and watching my kids, like if they already have that mentality, why would they give that up? Why wouldn't they fight for that? So yes, they have an economic advantage. So the wealth got like trickle down economics. I like trickle down economics because it talks about the family structure and how it should be structured. Trickle down economics. You have insurance. When you pass away, you give a whole bunch of money to your kids from the things that you work for. They have that money now. If they have a half a
That's
brain,
not trickle down economics, bro.
it is.
No, it's not.
What's
That's
trickle
not
down economics? Let's Google it.
Reaganomics. That's from Ronald Reagan. That's
No,
where.
wait. Reaganomics is way different than trickle
No, it's
down
not.
economics.
It's the same thing.
Well, that man had a different agenda, I believe. When I okay, well maybe not trickle down economics. But let's just talk about how wealth is distributed from where it is to your children and stuff like that. What's that word? I don't know what that word is, but it's a way that wealth is distributed from you to your children to your grandchildren.
Generational wealth.
Okay, yes. That's what I was looking for. Generational wealth, not trickle down economics. That was wrong. I was thinking about something completely different. Generational wealth. So they have developed generational wealth because they played the long game. When they transported or used whoever they wanted to use for slavery, which is the black people, when they looked at that, they were thinking about how can we stay on top? How can we have the most?
Before we get into a whole history lesson, I just wanted you to answer that question truthfully. So now you're saying that they do have an advantage in economics and employment, correct?
Economics, yes. Employment, it's hard for me to say that I believe they have an advantage in that because I've been
Are
more,
white men as unemployed as black men?
I don't know the statistics on that, like the exact statistics.
Why don't you know?
I have not looked into just statistics of,
Do you know what
the
willful
unemployment.
ignorance or being willfully obtuse is?
Yes,
Because usually when you say no to something, right, you know what you're talking about. If you didn't know what you were talking about, you could have said, I don't know. But you said no first. So when you can't substantiate something you just said, it tells me that you're being willfully obtuse.
No, but I answered that honestly. When you asked me that question, I answered that honestly.
No, you said no.
Yeah, I know I said no.
So then why would you say no if you don't know?
Because it's it's multi-layered. Like when you say,
How many
are
fingers
they,
am I holding up in my left hand? Not this hand, the other hand. How many fingers am I holding up right now?
your hand is down.
How many?
Your hand is down.
How many?
You can't hold up fingers if your hand is down.
I'm holding up fingers right now. How many fingers? Wait, hold on. Now I gotta fix my mic. All right, hold on. All right. Now I'm holding up fingers. How many fingers am I holding up in my left hand?
Your arm is down. You lifted it up to fix your headset, but your arm is down.
How many fingers am I holding up in my left hand? Stop. Just answer the question and stop telling me what I'm doing with my fingers. I'm telling you I'm holding up my fingers. How many am I holding up right now?
None.
Okay. Yeah, you are legitimately as obtuse as you seem. All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest. We're going to move on. I was getting dumber and dumber by the question. Shout out to y'all for the Panther pause. Like, how he gonna say none with boldness and he doesn't know? Like anyone else would have said, I don't know. I can't see your hand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's the type of person when he don't know something, he's gonna act like he know what he talking about. Maybe that works for him in life. I don't know. It's weird. All right, we're going to the next guest. Keep tapping like y'all. Thank y'all for getting us to where we at? 10K? All right, we need to get to 25K. Yeah, I don't know. It's so special. I don't know what that was about. Like, if you don't know something, just say you don't know it on my live, please. Don't come up here trying to pretend that you know everything. If you don't know something, just say I don't know. Don't try to make white folks comfortable first as your gut instinct, and then say, oh, I don't know, I can't. Like if you say no to something, then I'm gonna ask you where you have got that answer from. If you tell me I don't know after that, then you're just an idiot. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 29 years old. I would say that I'm black. I'm sure that's what everybody else would, call me. And I'm from Virginia. Yeah, that's the rundown.
Are you black just because everyone else would call you that?
My father and mother, they are, that's what they would, they would have called us Negroes and all that, that's what they'd have called us, So I would believe that I'm black. Yeah.
All right, man. Stand in it. You a little shaky. Go ahead, talk to us.
Me personally, I mean, I don't know about how deep the culture is when it comes to, African American people, but I feel like deep in the culture, what you would say, as for what is the representation of it. And I've tried to date outside of my race, and it was very, very hard. I don't know if it was just me, but I don't know if they coincide together from the outside looking in.
What do you mean by coincide?
I don't think it work with other races dating each other.
What doesn't work about it?
Culturally, it's like damn near it's like a monkey trying to date a lion, It's like a tiger trying to date a lion. There you go, something like that. It don't work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Why doesn't it work?
In the animal kingdom, if a lion.
Why are you talking about
fucks with-
animals? I don't need metaphors, man. I'm asking you why it doesn't work for humans.
for me, if you're talking about just basic human functions, I don't think that we function the same. I can go outside in the sun. I won't get burnt the fuck up. You feel what I'm like? It's certain shit like biologically, if that's a word, it don't work.
The sun. I'm gonna be
F1.
honest, La. Is this a topic you're knowledgeable about, or did you just come on here to just play around with me?
What about the sun? Or are you talking about interracial relationships?
Yeah, you know.
The interracial
Well, like, what are we
relationships?
talking about? You talking about the sun? You think people gonna melt in the sun?
I mean, don't you know that if white people go out in the sun, they kind of burn up in the bitch?
Yeah, but like, what the hell does that got to do with socioeconomic and socio-political? The 10 areas of people activity, like, yeah, I know they get sunburns, bro, but like, really? Like, that's where we're gonna go? Like, man, yo, listen, if anybody that got two brain cells to rub together, please feel free to come up on the live, man. Like, come on now. We know they got melanoma. Don't fall asleep in the sun if you white. We know. But we're talking about interracial relationships, not skin cancer. Like, I hear you, but come on now. My goodness. Oh, I got you, Pinkalicious. Peace, strawberry cake. What's going on?
Hey, how are you? Good
Hey,
evening.
good evening. Good evening.
So they were getting on my nerves. You know, I like to come up. I like to come up when they're getting on our nerves.
Absolutely.
And I'm just going to stick to what I normally say, right? It is very unethical to date someone after they've already robbed you and then to go on a date and allow them to spend that money on you. I don't want to be friends with nobody who didn't pay my grandmother. Okay, I'm still out here trying to get her money. So, I like to speak in layman's terms to people because sometimes they make things so difficult, like the last two people. Your grandma worked somewhere for the last 300 years and they never paid her, but someone has that money. And these people are out here in yachts, boats, mansions, farms, international real estate with your family's money. You are broke because they have the money. We are broke because they have the money. And for people who don't understand this, it's like they don't understand loyalty. How are you going to lay up with somebody who has your money in their wallet? I want to just keep it very, very simple because people are so simple minded. Like I said before, if you work at a job and you work there for 3 weeks and you don't get a paycheck, how would you feel? And people seem to not understand that. They're like, oh no, what about this and what about that and what about that? No, you can't come to my house. You can't hang out with me. You can't lay up with me after you already robbed my peoples. And you ain't give them the money back. You ain't trying to give them the money back, and you pretending that you ain't got the money. And my grandma dropped her purse. You picked her purse up, and then you helped her look for the purse after she dropped the purse. So let's not go there.
I heard that.
And that's how I feel. And I'm gonna be quiet unless you need me to say something else.
Thank you, Queen. Cause
Thank you.
yeah, you just brought us back to balance, man. Ashe.
Thank
Peace.
you. Shay, I'm gonna sit right here until I
All
gotta
right.
fight somebody. I'm eating oxtails right now, and
Oh, okay.
they disturbing my peace with this nonsense.
All right.
All right,
Let
I'll
me go
be
to.
right here.
All right, appreciate you, Queen. Let me go to King Ping. What's good, sister?
Okay, so are interracial relationships unethical? They sure are. And are interracial dating preferences prejudice? It sure is. And I'm saying this because I just went through this on my porch. The police just came to my house. Okay. I live in a predominantly YT neighborhood. Okay. I don't drive, so I do order out a lot. Walmart, DoorDash, all of that. Well, today I specifically had like maybe 4 different orders. And the interracial couple live like a house away from me. And sometimes the door dashers will pull into their yard. Well, the police just came here and told me, he was like, did you call the cops? And I was like, for what? And he was like, oh, you calling saying somebody trespassed on your property? And I'm like, I ain't even never left off my porch.
Damn.
So the black guy that's with the white woman, he called the police and said that I be trespassing on their property and he think that I'm selling drugs.
What?
And I'm like, drug? I'm looking at the cop. I'm like, drugs? He like, yeah, I know it's really stupid. I'm like, that right there just really angered me so bad because like,
Wow.
out of all the things you could have said, you saying that because I had multiple cars come up here, it's not even the same cars. Like, and you see me clearly bringing bags in the house or boxes or like things of that nature, and you just automatically assume that's what I'm doing.
Wow.
I just had to get that out because that it just angered me so bad. And I'm like, he just over there being a house nigga, you know what I'm saying? You up under that white tea woman, you not even understanding what type of situation you could have put me in.
Right.
And then you already was shooting at my last DoorDash driver when they went to the wrong yard.
He did?
Yeah, so you
Oh,
shot at
nah.
them and then called the police. But what the police gonna say? Nothing because the woman he's with is YT. Like that junk is sickening to me. I just had to say. So I was like, you came on live just in time because I was like, this is just ridiculous. This is why
That's
exactly
evil.
why it's ridiculous. And this is
If you know
why
what happened
got
to
be
Takia
so
Young,
black.
I mean, if you know what happened to
Yeah,
Sonia Massey,
I
then
know. This is what I'm
that's
saying. And then you call the police and then lie and say I'm selling drugs. Like, I work every day. What are you
that's
talking about?
that's why I got raided by the LAPD because somebody lied on me the same way. So that really could have went left. Like
That's
I
what
had
I'm saying. Like the cop looking
wow.
at me, he's like, you don't even look like that type. I'm like, I work every day. It's just me and my children here. There's not even no Mel here. So like, what is he talking about?
Wow.
And then I pulled up my DoorDash and showed him all the DoorDashes I got today, all the Walmarts I got today, all the Uber Eats I got today. And I'm like, this all happened today. But thank you for letting me get that out.
Well, we gonna
That was awful. I was like, that's exactly why. That's
yeah,
exactly why.
that's exactly why. Well, you
That
stay
could have went
safe.
crazy.
I hope you got pocket protection. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So
I
yeah,
checked.
you all right now.
Yep.
All right. Big up to my sister, man. Thank you for sharing that story with us. A lot of us need that wake up call sometimes, you know. And y'all sisters be safe out here. That system don't protect y'all. And even be careful with the, whoop whoop. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't let them in the house. Don't ever let them in your house, you know. If they gotta talk to you, you come outside, maybe talk to them. But don't ever let them in your house because they come in your house. You see what they did with Sonia Massey. That anything can be a weapon in your house, like anything. They could just see your child's little league baseball bat on the ground and say, "Oh, you got a weapon." You know what I'm saying? But if they want to make up something, they can. You know what I'm saying? I don't even open the door for them. To be honest, they're not without a warrant. You feel me? Know your rights. That's what we gotta have a live about. We should have a live about our rights. How about that? Liberated, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, I'm Liberated. I am 31, black, and she, her.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me up. And I do agree with both of the questions there. I think that they are unethical. And specifically, coming off the heels of what Pink had just said, like her story, I think it definitely applies to the question, are interracial dating preferences prejudice? I think we often forget that when it comes to relationships, people often view them in that same racial caste system that you mentioned before. And that caste system doesn't just apply to us as individuals, but our relationships as well. And people will use relationships as a means to move themselves up the racial caste, just like they would a caste when it comes to, like an economic scale. And with Pink's story there, she mentioned that this black man was married or dating this white tea lady, and that he is obviously using this relationship as a means, whether it's conscious or subconscious, as a means to divorce himself from the community and to put himself in a position of power in society. And that can be really thrilling and rewarding, and very something that people will cling to in order to just want more for themselves without recognizing just how damaging it can be. And unfortunately, it was damaging to Pink because it put her life in danger, but it's also emotionally taxing for him as well, in the sense that you have to betray who you are at your core to get ahead in life. And of course, we all have had to make questionable decisions, I'm sure, in life. However, that doesn't mean that you get to go against the people who look like you, who've struggled like you, and who are in the same boat. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. That's my thought. And I did also want to say that I think when it comes to the preferences situation, we often forget that we have the data when it comes to dating, that Black and specifically, I think it's Southeast Asian men are swiped right on the least in society. So we're getting less partnerships and more less people actually looking at our profiles. So we are 100% not the desirable people within society. So when we have Black men who are not on that same level, who are actually swiped right on quite often, and I apologize that I don't have stats on this right now, and they say things like, well, I prefer a white woman. Well, you're saying that not only are we as Black women not desirable, but that these interracial relationships are okay because they don't already, because in your mind, they don't play into the stereotypes that Black people aren't desirable. Well, you're getting away with it because as Black men, you are still desirable. As Black women, we are not. And we are what continue on this society of Black people. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense at all, but yeah, I just think that when it comes to those men who are Black and decide to be married, we have this kind of problem where it's those who are educated and highly educated that will continue to go on to marry whitey women, effectively taking those who like marriages and Black couples that could make a lot of money for our community.
That's what makes them desirable. That's what makes them desirable, because they're looking for ball players and entertainers more than they're looking for some scrub, like TLC said,
But even then, like, I will say that the majority of interracial relationships that I see that are Black men and a whitey woman, it is not a ball player. It is a man who is able to keep a steady job, etc., all of that. Right. I was on a live panel with someone who has gone to school and is gainfully employed and will be able to keep that. The majority, I think it's something like 75% of Black marriages that exist within the Black community are Black and Black. And unfortunately, in those marriages, the grand majority of them are with male partners that are unable to continue on to keep gainful employment. So that's kind of
That's
the
because
problem
those are
there.
the ones that are undesirable to the white power structure.
Exactly. Exactly. And the craziest part is that I was on a live only like a few weeks ago with a white tea woman who is a teacher or a professor at an HBCU, and she has married a black man. And she doesn't see anything wrong with her, out of her dating history of 100% black men. She doesn't see anything wrong with it. But essentially what I wanted to say is that even though she dated all black men, all of them, she said, were either professors, lawyers, like all of these, like really, really quote high value men, even though I
Yeah.
hate that term in itself and I apologize for having to use it. But again, there is this problem where they're not
How-
actually,
You have
Yeah.
to align with white supremacy or the white power structure that it already currently exists to some level to even become quote unquote high value in a system of oppression. Like, you ever see First 48 where they look for like kidnap victims? You ever see that show?
yes, yes.
Yeah, and you know, like
Sorry, I don't know why I laughed.
there'll be like there'll be one person that was in on it and they're snitching and they're cooperating with the police, and now they've got a bucket of KFC chicken and a soda and 2 cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? They're just living up life all good in the police interrogation room. Like,
Yeah,
in order to even become that, well educated, high earning black man, you have to at some level code switch and mask yourself through several layers in society and align yourself with value systems that are inherently racist because they're built on the exploitation of your own people. So,
exactly.
I think I think a lot of brothers internalize it and then see the white tea woman, see the white tea man is a goal, an objective for where they want to be, and inherently they're gonna want the white tea woman by their side to feel, like they're living that fantasy.
Yeah. And I think we also do need to make space, though, for a small delineation that it's not always that the black male will want to be where the white male is in society, but specifically just wanting the power that he has. Not that he wants to be the white tea male always, even though that there are many who do want to be white, obviously.
No, I mean the power.
yeah.
I mean the social
Yeah. Oh,
status.
okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Then yeah, of course.
I mean,
yeah.
a lot of black men will never tell you they want to bleach their skin and pointy up their nose and like Michael Jackson, but for the most part, they want all the side effects while still holding on to that stereotypical hypermasculinity that they feel like white tea people see us as.
And I just wanted to also note that the craziest part of all of the interracial relationships that I see, though, is that they never seem to want anyone who would be considered, quote, hood or ghetto or whatever the hell, right? Like, it's like they never seem to
Not unless
want
they've already
Jamal off
been-
the corner.
Not unless they've already been rejected by white heteropatriarchy. Like, if they've already
Yeah.
been rejected because there's fat phobia in their community. So if they're a bigger woman, they're not desirable to white men. So then they end up with a black man. If they have a lot of tattoos and, kind of, have things that, Taylor Swift doesn't have, Taylor Swift is
Yeah.
like who white men are aiming for. You know what I'm saying? They're aiming for that, perfect little white angel. That's what they called her, an Aryan angel in the National Enquirer, a white supremacist newspaper. But anyway, yeah, that's what they're aiming for. And Kim Kardashian with the curvaceous waist and Afrocentric features, implants in her lips and stuff like that. They look at that as throwaway. I mean, she's known for having a Ray J Snicker bar in her mouth, so no white man wants to follow that and wife her up unless you're Pete Davidson, some white boy with, again, markings all over his skin, You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have to present. They have to be interested in a certain sort of lifestyle that is very. I would say
Or
like
they're a
almost
feminist.
a caricature
Yeah.
of what it is to be a black person. And unfortunately, like when you're talking about like the Pete Davidsons or like those type of presenting males that will go after white teen males that will go after like a sexy red or like that type of a black woman, and it's like you don't always see just like because at the end of the day, black women are the most educated group on the planet.
Right.
I shouldn't say that, but
and the least married. That makes no
US.
damn sense.
Exactly. So it's like you have so many quote just like everyday black girls, and I hate that I'm using these phrases right now actually, but like I just want to say that there are so many variations of what it is to be black, and unfortunately it seems as though only a certain few are being picked in this sort of interracial marriage scheme that happens, and it's done for very specific reasons, which are preferences that are prejudice. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
thank you for
Thank
that.
you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming up and joining the conversation. Don't forget to keep tapping like, y'all. We gotta get to 50K likes. We are lagging behind. I need y'all to tap like, tap like, tap like. We gotta get to 50K up here in the top corner. If we can't do it in the next 3 minutes, I'm gonna have to turn the comments off. Leah, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yes, okay. I'm 26. My pronouns is she and her, and I'm African American Black.
All right, talk to us.
Okay, so the first question, the answer to it is very unethical. The reason I feel it's unethical is because I think a lot of us forget why we're in America. We're not here by choice. I mean, of course, we could leave if we get up enough funds, but if all of us try to leave at one time, they'll try to hold us back.
It was free to get here. It should be free to get home.
Exactly, which is why it's unethical because in the countries that our ancestors come from, we have to look at who's behind the Congo and Sudan and everything they're going through over there. It will be unethical for people of color, Black people, to want to be in relationships with people that are coming from a lineage that is upholding white supremacy. And as for the second question, it is very prejudiced because a lot of people don't understand that interracial dating is a fetish. Well, I'm not going to say everybody fetishizes. I mean, I feel like it is, but everybody has their own opinions. This stems from the fancy girls. I don't know if y'all are aware of what the fancy girls was, but it's basically where YT males had a thing for biracial women. They thought that they were what you would consider, like she was saying earlier, a caricature. So they would put this same ideology onto Black people. So Black males would then view biracial women or light-skinned women as what they would call a material to have on their side. They had brothels and all types of things where they would host these fancy girl shows. And that's kind of where the colorism stems from, because it happened during enslaved times. So just to keep it short, we can't come up as a community if we constantly looking over our shoulder to see what the white males have in their pockets. They're never going to help us. Why would they help us? The stuff that they've done to our community, like the amount of atrocities that they put us through, including Africans and in Haiti, Jamaica, all those countries, they will never be able to uplift us because it would then provide us the information of what they're really doing behind closed doors. It just doesn't make sense for them to want to help. And so since we know this, us aiming to be in their assimilating into their communities is only going to make it worse for us because it's not putting money into our community. It's taking away the money. Our children are not being taught. The schools that our kids go to, like I'm 26, so I remember being in middle school. I went to a horrible middle school before I ended up going to PWI, and they thought enforcing us to wear uniforms was going to make the school better. It wasn't, because they didn't care about those kids. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to remember why we're in America, And we have to remember that this is not our final place. We should aim to go rebuild countries in Africa, help rebuild their economy, because at the end of the day, that's how we pay back our ancestors. Go back home and rebuild their home.
Absolutely. I heard that. Well, thank you for that, sister. That was a lovely breakdown. I think a lot of brothers and sisters need to hear that, especially on this app. Rebuilding, reconnecting to the mother continent is something that liberate us here in America. The effects will be felt far and wide. As goes Africa, so goes all African people. And like she said, it was free for us to get here. And, that's something that we have to keep in the context. The metaphor I use is if you take a woman from her home, tie her up in your bathroom, tie her up or to your shower head, and you feed her, give her a little bit of water, make sure she's comfortable, but you don't improve the conditions of where she's living and where you have her tied up. You took her from her home. So if all of these things going on and you do nothing to free her or help her in any way, but you turn to her and say, I love you. She say, I love you back. That's Stockholm Syndrome. What makes it Stockholm Syndrome? Because even if I were to free her and she would still stay here in this house under my authority, it would still be Stockholm Syndrome that she hasn't chosen to run away, and so at the end of the day, the context of which we were brought to this country needs to be something we take into consideration anytime we bring up something to do with our oppressor. I gotta be careful because I'll be saying C-Racka and honky a lot, so TikTok will get me. But anyway, Dracula, is that it? Wait, is it Dracula? Dracula. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. Dracula 69. Are you here? I'm gonna unmute you. I don't know. You might be having a microphone problem.
Hey, I think I figured it out. Hey,
There you go. Hey, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
hey, man, I am 58 years old, standard, white guy, and I'm a he. And I got to give you a little bit of background on my family. My grandfather, Irish American, married a German American. They had 6 daughters, and 4 of them went the traditional route in marriage. One joined a convent, kind of married to God. The next one married an Irish Catholic guy. My
That's
mom
funny you
married-
say that. I'm married to God too.
That's good for you. Whatever works. My mom married an Italian American. The 2 youngest of the sisters, one married a Jewish guy. She had to move out to Colorado to escape his family because they didn't approve of the religious marriage. The other youngest daughter married an African Nigerian man from Africa who was studying aeronautical engineering in Boulder. And of all these relationships, my parents divorced, the Irish divorced, the woman left the convent. The only 2 that are still going past 40 years are the ones that really base their relationship on love. And that's the one who married the Nigerian and the one who married the Jewish guy. And I'm telling you, if it's in your heart, it works. It doesn't matter who's making the money or who looks like what or what your fetishes are. That's all, to me.
All that matters is the heart.
That's what's, yeah. And you guys putting out a lot of stuff about, oh, they do this and they do that to us. But when you got 2 people that bond at the heart, that shit works. There's no difference between us inside, black people and white people.
You sure?
No, I don't believe it. I mean, you talked about melatonin earlier. No, I don't think, they're people are faster runners and little things like that. But in brain development, and yeah, sickle cell is only an African American thing, but there's white people diseases. There's some biological stuff, but I don't
Sickle
see.
cell is actually an immunity to malaria. Did you know that?
No, I just know that it's predominant to African Americans, and I had a friend from high school who passed away from it. And
But
I
they're
don't know.
immune to malaria.
Yeah, no, okay, so that's cool, but
Yeah.
we got other ways to beat malaria, and now hopefully they can work out sickle cell. I don't think it's a positive thing because it's immunity to malaria, but if it is, maybe.
I mean, it exists for a reason, right? It wasn't it your guy Darwin that said, the strong survive.
Yeah, something like that. But you know what? Also, as human beings, and you're married to God, you probably believe this too. It's not just the strong that survive. Our nature should be to uphold those weaker people and not say, the stronger survive. And over the long run, yeah, but, me as a person, when I see someone down and out, I really try, and it's hard. You can't do it all the time. You got your own resources. You got to take care of your own family, and yourself. But you try and uplift that other person. And it doesn't matter what color they are, right? You see a child struggling and hungry.
Do you think race is only about color?
Yeah.
Then why do they
so.
say race, color, creed?
I don't know. There's races. There's a definition. There's a scientific definition, right? There's the Micronesians, the Melanesians, Eurasians, Asians. I don't know, but that's beyond my pay grade. I don't know the science of it. But are there cultural differences? Yeah, but I think in our DNA, right, it's like it's 99.999% the same between you and me.
Would you say
our color? We look a lot different, believe me. But yeah.
Would you say that that there would be a racial difference between a black Jamaican and a black American?
A racial difference? No, I think there's a cultural difference. They speak different languages. They eat different kinds
Okay.
of food.
So you're saying race isn't just a cultural difference, and it can't be a skin color difference, right? Because there's Indian people darker than me.
Yeah, race
And they're not black.
I don't know where you're going with that, but where I'm taking it is race is not that big of a deal and doesn't make people a lot different.
Well, I just want to define what it is. You know, what are you saying? Like, just to clarify, what you're talking about. What is a race? Because it's not an ethnicity, and it's more than a skin color. Like, what makes someone a certain race?
Oh boy, this is a good question. I have mixed race cousins, right? They're mixed race. We talked about that relationship with my aunt and the Nigerian guy. They identify as African American. And when I have this conversation with them is why do you do that? You are half white, They say, well, part of it is because culturally, America, they
And he's out of here. Hey, big up to Cruzanne Rose for that honky be gone. Appreciate you. Let's go to the next guest. Mimi, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hi, I am 28. I'm Black African and she, her.
All right, talk to us.
First of all, can I just say that last guy, he sounded like, that TikTok that's like, my mom went to the Catholic school, my brother went to school in Georgia. Like, shut the, you don't need to know all of that, girl. Like, calm down.
Yeah, he did too much.
So long, man.
They
Jesus
always
Christ.
do. Yeah.
Are interracial relationships unethical? I think so. Just like for me, my personal experience, I think there's no way that you can be in such a power imbalance and not have some sort of unethical behavior going on somewhere. I know that at the moment there is a sprinkle thing going on where people feel like or this thing of trying to kind of, I'm sorry to use so much like TikTok speak, blame my generation, but this thing of trying to like was golden retriever white men, or like assume a lot of like innocence in white men. As someone that is queer, I strongly believe that love is love, but I also don't believe that people that present as innocent are innocent, and that unfortunately we assume whiteness to be innocence, and that is weaponized against us a lot, especially as Black women in this day and age. Yeah. And are dating preferences prejudice? Absolutely. I do want to like preface it and say though that I think a lot of people will come and say like love is love. And I, again, as someone that's queer, I do believe that love is love, but I also think that we all do things for certain reasons. Like we all have biases and preconceived notions that are societal most of the time, that if you don't think too deeply, you will never recognize. And a lot of people just don't want to make the effort to think deeply, you know what I mean? And consider why they're doing certain things. And I appreciate that sometimes you're in a situation or you're in a place where it's hard to find the kind of love that you want and you deserve. And so you take what you're given. But, you know, I think while you're still doing that, be honest with yourself, you know what I mean? And think deeply about why it is you're doing what you're doing and not live in denial. But yeah, these are my thoughts.
Okay. So my question is, and I've said this before in this live, what does love have to do with it? When you are in a relationship with someone as a Black woman, do you get into that relationship for the love and the love only?
I think there are various reasons why people get in relationships, but I think love is a very compelling factor for a lot of people. I don't think that love is enough, but I think that it is a very compelling factor. And so if you want to make it enough, you can make it enough. And I'm saying that as someone, I have been in interracial relationships in the past. I thank God for opening my eyes, but I have been in interracial relationships in the past. And I think that's why I have very, very strong opinions, because like I was raised in Nigeria with what I consider to be white privilege, like colorism, texturism, like in a predominantly Black country, if you have any little bit of white, you get white privilege kind of thing. And I feel like I was raised with the kind of notion to date white, to kind of quote unquote maintain a certain legacy, as weird as that sounds. And
What if you were to fall in love? Do you believe that people can control who they love?
I think that sometimes when you're caught up with the emotion, it can be very hard to control. But I also think that in every relationship, at a certain point, you snap out of it. At a certain point in every relationship, especially when you're in interracial relationships, at the end of the day, like, and I'm going to talk about my demographic, my age range, because this is what opened my eyes. When you are dealing with people, even in our demographic, our age range that are considered to be, I guess, most people will say post-racial, even though that doesn't exist. These people are still raised by racists. Like, you know, their parents are racist. Their parents are boomers, you know? They're still raised by racists. So it's like, how post-racial can someone be when they're raised by racists in a racist society? And I think that's the thing, is like, you can follow emotion and be blind to color and blind to everything else that's right in front of you. But at some point, things happen. You will definitely be faced with racism as an interracial couple. You will 100% be faced with racism. And the question is, like, are you going to ignore it and make excuses for it? Or are you going to open your eyes and be like, oh, okay, maybe I don't need to be dealing with this?
So you're saying we can choose?
I wouldn't say that we can choose who we fall in love with, but I am saying that sometimes love is not enough, and sometimes we have to open our eyes and see where love is something else.
Why do we have to do that?
If you love yourself.
Why can't you love a racist?
If you love yourself, you won't love a racist. That's the thing. If you love yourself and you are proud in who you are and you know yourself, and that's another thing, is that I feel like a lot of us don't know who we are or are proud of who we are. And we think that we are. We think that we're proud in who we are because we haven't actually examined where that pride is coming from, or what that pride is, or who has given us that pride. I think, unfortunately, a lot of Black women in interracial relationships can sometimes gain their sense of pride from how they're seen in like the white gaze, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like how white people see them. And so if that's where you get your pride from, or your sense of pride from, then absolutely you will think that your white partner is the best thing since sliced bread. But if you start to recognize your own Black pride, where you get your own pride from, your Africanness, all of the things, who you are as a person, it just won't cut it anymore, you know?
So would you say self-hatred is dangerous?
Absolutely. Oh, 100%.
Because
100%.
if you were to love and just go based off love, you might find someone that likes the books you read, the movies you watch.
Yeah.
You know, they're a very fascinating person to be around. You know, they remind you of a parent, but they're in the Klan. And
Absolutely.
You know,
I mean, for me, I think, and I would say, this is why I'm saying, like, as a self-drag, honestly, like, I find it disgusting that I lived through it, but it's the process, you know. I dated a white man for like 2 years. It was a horrific, like, when I tell you, I nearly ran mad. I nearly lost my damn mind. It was a serious situation. And I feel like in that time, that was also during like the George Floyd protests. And this person who I'd been with for a year at this point looked at me and asked me, "Oh, but why were they rioting?" Excuse you? Like, what do you mean? How are you trying to tell somebody how to react to such violence, you know?
so
And, you know, even just so many things. But yeah, it's it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
I'm asking you this line of questioning for a reason. Do Black people have the luxury of love in a hostile environment? You know, when we talk about love, right, we talk about usually romanticism, romance. Roman is the root word. That's European. And romance and romanticism came from a philosopher named Jean-Jacques Rousseau in the mid-18th century, the 1700s. And he kind of revolutionized relationships because people started to marry for love. Royalty started to marry for love. We got Romeo and Juliet, you know, being seen as, you know, head over heels. Screw the hostility in the environment and the hostility between our families. I love Romeo. And even though everyone gets unalived in the end, you know, they did love each other. And head over heels, you know. And that's a type of love that's a luxury for those that don't live in an environment hostile to their people. However, when Black people love, we also have the added nuance of having to think about our proximity to danger first, even when you're loving a Black man.
That's what I was about to say, because we can also be anti-Black as well. So it's like,
Right?
does that mean that none of us can love?
That's still a symptom of the environment. And so that's why I'm saying, do Black people have the luxury of just love? You know, when you walk up to a person and say, "Man, I really love this person," but you know, they might have anti-Blackness inherently taught to them through living in a white supremacist, you know, anti-Black environment, where they have that self-hatred, which is dangerous. So when people come together in a hostile environment and form bonds with people based on their ability to survive together, the shared objective of surviving this hostile environment, we don't call that love normally. We call that camaraderie.
True.
Those two people aren't just lovers, they're comrades.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
Yeah,
It
that's a very fair point.
so
But then
yeah.
I think then it gets to, because I do think that everyone deserves I do think that everyone deserves love and camaraderie, but I do think that
Yeah,
everyone
but love
deserves
comes
love.
second because we can't think of love first.
True.
So we can love, but a black woman's going to look at me and say, "Can you provide? Can you help? If we have a child, can you help keep me and the child safe? Are you someone that's going to call the police on me, a black woman,
Yeah.
if I'm angry and venting about my day at work, because you feel like the white patriarchal system will protect you,
Yeah.
and they won't. Look at Sonya Massey.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know, just a thing when it comes to black love, we are prisoners of war, and a lot of us don't want to acknowledge that until we live in that post-racial society.
Yeah.
As long as racism exists, we first have to think about surviving. And you see people argue about who's going to go 50-50 on the tab and rent, and those arguments are valid because we've been economically disenfranchised. We live
Yeah.
in high poverty rates and high unemployment. So this is just a thing where do we have the privilege of just love, or is it really camaraderie? And that's what defines black love. Something to think about. It's
Fact.
something from a
Fact.
scholar, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. You can look it up.
What's the
Yeah.
book? Is it a particular book or is it just
Well, it's a lecture. If you look
okay.
up Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. and love, Neely, Neely, Fuller, Fuller Jr. He's the writer or the author of a book called The Compensatory Counter-Racist Code, which conceptualized systemic racism back in like the 60s, I believe. Yeah, he's like the one that if you ever heard someone said you got to be on code,
Yeah.
he wrote the Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. That's the code book.
Oh,
Um,
sick. Okay.
yeah, it's a textbook, not like a novel, or
Yeah.
it's a textbook. So it's full of definitions and a logical, rational, critical like look at racism and how it operates.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for educating me. I really enjoyed. I've been wanting to come up here for so long, so I'm really appreciative of like this conversation.
absolutely. Appreciate you coming up, sister.
Thank you.
All right, Detroit, what's going on, brother?
What's up, bro?
Peace, family. Talk to us.
Appreciate you having me up.
Yes, sir.
So the other day at that rally for J.D. Vance, George Lane, the senator of Ohio, he came out and said if they don't win, then it needs to be a civil war. So the Civil War we know is inextricably linked to the freedom of black people. Of course, there's more complexity to it, but that's what it's about. So I'm heavily into politics, although I don't subscribe to the Democratic Party, and I never would subscribe to the Republican. I don't subscribe to the Democratic Party anymore, just because I don't believe in either side. But this is what I will say: the irony of that, and then that happens to Sonya Massey in Ohio. J.D. Vance is from Ohio, and they say that the North is different from the South. I can't tell. What's even more crazy is the question you have up is fitting for these times, because you take Kamala Harris, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna vote for her just as a FU and a finger in the face of those whom are racist. I am, and even though I don't want to, I'm gonna do it just out of spite. But the reason it's unethical is because right now they are calling her a DEI candidate, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, which means, in layman's terms, the only reason she is in that position is because she's black, but she's married to a white man. So even though she's married to a white man, those who are white T, who are just like her husband, feel that the only reason you have a chance is because you're black. Normally, you wouldn't have an advantage of being black. I thank God I got lucky enough to be black. But I just thought I'd come up and say that it's crazy, the state that we are in 2024. I'll just say this. Ain't nothing changed. It ain't gonna change. I don't be with my black sisters for a very long time. Appreciate you.
I heard that, brother. Ashe.
Hello,
All
guys.
right.
How are you?
One moment, quick cake. We got someone before you, and I'll let you go next.
Okay.
JT, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
What's happening? My name is, I'm 35, black, he, him are my pronouns. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, talk
Uh,
to us.
I think on the second question, it's pretty easy that interracial dating preferences are prejudice. I think it's clear that people's preference to date outside of their race, well, not clear, but likely are based on, like, you know, sort of white supremacist ideology that permeates our American culture. I do not, however, agree with what appears to be your position, which is that interracial relationships are all exclusively unethical. I think it's true that they have different ethical implications than monoracial relationships or single racial relationships, but I don't think that the structural racism that exists maps perfectly onto interpersonal relationships in a way that makes interracial relationships unethical on their face. That's really all I want to say. I'm
Okay,
happy to follow up, but
could you substantiate that somehow?
well, I think if we're being, where we keep it sort of generalized, I think it's probably true that everybody, we live in a racist culture, a society, and so people are bringing baggage into their relationships. But I think in the personal realm, people have the ability to engage in anti-racism.
Can someone be racist on a personal level? Can an individual alone be racist?
An individual can express, yes, I think so. Yes, I think they can be racist. You use the example, for example, of the KKK. Those individuals are individually racist. Of course, we're aware of systemic racism as a thing, or the larger reality of racism being about enforcing white supremacy. But individuals, yes, they behave in ways that are racist or have ideas that are racist or are so bought into white supremacy that they're racist. Yeah.
I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding in racism called the individualistic fallacy of racism. Racism operates as a system only. It's a team sport. Can Kobe Bryant win a game, or does when he shoot 40 points in a game, he's winning for the Lakers?
He's winning for the Lakers, but when he plays one-on-one, he's still the best player on the court.
But they don't have one-on-one NBA games.
Right, but Kobe Bryant plays one-on-one at his house. I mean, I don't think there's any distinction between. I don't think there's any conflict between the idea that people can behave in racist ways.
But do we live on an island by ourselves, or do we live in society?
We're married by ourselves. Our relationships are between individuals. They're affected by the culture. They're informed by our culture.
But they're between individuals that still operate within society that is upholding racism.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
Have you ever heard of the individualistic fallacy?
Yes, I've heard of it. I think it's oversimplified. All right, it's a distinction, I guess, without a difference. I think ultimately, I don't disagree that racism is about upholding white supremacy, but we also are aware that individuals enact that on a smaller level, and we're aware of things operating on micro and macro levels. Right, but now that's just a sort of language thing. I mean, they're not racist by themselves.
They're not,
because
they're
they
backed
are racist
up by a system.
Their racism has power because of a system. Their racism has power because of a system. I think.
Well, then it's not racism if it doesn't have power.
I think that's also true.
If a white man wants to lynch me, that's his problem. If he has power to do so, that's racism.
Right, but
so if I say, you know what, man,
we can use a different word if you want to use a different word, I guess.
No, that's the word. Racism is systemic, and a lot of people don't understand that racism expressed by individuals is still systemic because it is backed up by that power structure. I can't be racist to a white man because there's no power structure where if I wanted to do harm to that white man, I would be in my right to do so or be protected from consequences if doing so. So
I don't disagree with that. I guess I don't understand what the implications on the marriage decision. I hear you about, I guess I simply disagree with the idea that
Okay, how about this?
that black relationships require more than love, I guess is what I would say.
All right, so how about this? There are 10 areas, when people groups come together, there are 10 areas in which they can interact.
I'm familiar.
I'm going to list those 10 areas, and you tell me if white people are at an advantage over black people in those areas.
Listen, you don't have to list them. I'm absolutely aware of them, and I don't think there's any question that white people are at an advantage in every one of them. I think that's clear. I think that's the purpose of white supremacy.
All right, so
We're aware.
one of those 10 areas that are influenced by racism, white supremacy, is love.
Yes, but people in marriages can do work, right? We don't
What kind of work?
we don't operate exclusively on this sort of level of this systemic level. The individual relationship, they might, I just think there's work to be done. I think people can have relationships.
If I lock myself in the dungeon with a white woman, then I can agree with you that her racism won't have any power there. However, as soon as I open the door and walk outside with my white wife, I am in a world full of anti-blackness, and racism is inherent, and it's inherently going to grant power to her over me. That's why Jonathan Majors, with his big muscles, knew to run away from that white woman for 6 blocks. As much rich and famous as he is, he felt he was in danger. He knew he was in danger.
I think that's all true.
All right.
I've never experienced in my and that's not true. I mean, I'm aware of other people's interracial relationships that are trading on those kinds of dynamics. But I'm also aware of other interracial relationships where white people are doing serious work about white supremacy and rejecting racism.
All right, let's do it. Let's do the white unicorns. Where are they?
I don't know what you mean.
Where are they? Because you said they're doing serious work, right? So that means that they're doing serious work to dismantle systemic racism.
I mean, I guess, for example, I used to work at a place that was a prison abolitionist law firm. And at least some of the white people that worked there were serious about the ways in which prisons recreate Jim Crow, etc., and are engaged in that work for that reason, because they want to dismantle ongoing white supremacy. I think that just exists. I don't think that's
and you think that's enough?
Complicated. I don't know if it's enough, but I think people make all kinds of balancing decisions in relationships, and I don't think we can make a blanket call that every interracial relationship is unethical. I think you have to be serious about it.
As long as there's a power dynamic in 10 areas of people activity where black people are at a disadvantage, how can you be so sure that there is no because the ability to take advantage of someone makes a relationship between a warden and a prisoner unethical. It doesn't mean that they have to do it, but the ability granted to them to take advantage of someone in a weaker position in society is what would make a relationship between a psychologist and a client, a teacher and a student, a adult and a child unethical.
I don't think that those map on correctly to the marriage relationship. Those are relationships where the power can be exercised in a way that is disadvantageous or that can manipulate the other individual. And I don't think that if you're engaged in a relationship with a person that's conscious and awake and is interested in pursuing justice, that individual, I think I can trust my
brothers. They're not interested in pursuing
justice
trust my black now. Come on brothers.
Now. Well, I simply disagree with you, but that's a matter of experience. You have your point of view, and mine is different than yours. I'm confident that black people can make those kinds of evaluations. I'm not saying they always do, but I'm confident that people can make those kinds of decisions in their relationships.
But the power dynamic still exists, does it not?
It exists in the outside world, and if everybody's aware of it and conscious of it,
and people don't just live in the inside world in a dungeon locked away. People don't live on an island, though. But people don't live, and it doesn't matter what choices they make. They have the ability, if they so choose,
why would a self-respecting black person be unable to make those kinds of determinations?
Is it okay if
when
I
you be able to meet somebody?
No.
When you be able to make a determination about whether or not the person you're going to be in a relationship is going to be that kind of person? Wouldn't we know that? Why would we be married to
No,
somebody
we
that would take that kind of advantage of us?
why
Don't
would
we
someone that
respect black people's ability and
why would
autonomy to
someone
make
that
those
has
kinds
the
of
power to
decisions?
take advantage of someone be in a relationship with someone they have the ability to do so with?
I don't. But because they don't have
Why
any
would they
desire to.
choose? Why
Because
would
they
they
don't have any
say
desire
for
to.
400 years my people
Because they don't
took
have
your
any
people
desire
from your
to.
land, forced you to learn English, forced you to learn education about Europe and look at Christopher Columbus as an explorer and not a colonizer? Why would I say that after the mistreatment and the slavery, the Jim Crow, the redlining, the medical apartheid, the job disparity, unemployment, and so on and so on and so on in the 10 areas of people activity? Why would someone say, you know what, man? Aside from all of that, I'm an anti-racist, so I know what racism is. I know how it operates. That's what you're telling me. So I know all of that, and you know what? I like you for you, and I know I have this power over you, but I'm just gonna keep it in my back pocket, and that's perfectly ethical of me to do. As long as I don't pull out my machete and my rope, then everything is fine. Like to say that is like saying that someone that has the ability to take advantage of someone else is equal, because love, marriage is not something that's going to put them on an equal footing in life. And why
I
are the
disagree.
people
I
that are
mean,
so
I find this kind of like fear of every white individual to be strange, frankly. I find it
fear?
bizarre.
Are you not afraid of white people?
Not individual white people, absolutely not. No, sir, I am not. I'm
See how
aware that
you
white
keep
people
having to
can be
double down
racist.
on the individualistic fallacy.
Yeah, but that matters, man. I mean,
But it's
we're
a
talking about. I'm not
fallacy. It's
married
a
to. It's not a
logical
fallacy.
fallacy in
It's
the
not a
argument
fallacy. But you're
about
talking about.
race. This is
I don't
something
think it
that
is.
white people use. Why are you
I don't.
using it, black man? Like, why are you
I don't find it
using,
confusing.
oh, but on
I
an
think you're.
individual level,
I don't think
there's
my
some
voice
nice
sounds like
white
that.
people.
I
There are
don't think my voice sounds
200
like that at
million
all. I
white
think I'm speaking
people
in a
in
clear and
America.
confident voice. You
If
can do that.
1% of them were these unicorns that you say they are, why haven't they come together and formed a movement similar to Black Lives Matter? Why did we have to form Black Lives Matter to tell them Black Lives Matter? They should be telling us. They should be leading marches. They should be saying, hey, we have the power and the advantage in this system to correct 400 years of oppression on your people. Why aren't they coming together? Where is their group? Like, you're telling me about a few lawyers, and that's cute. That's cute. I hear you. That's really cute. I'm sure these lawyers have money, though. And I'm sure these lawyers are still able to take advantage of someone in an environment where they are the ones that control the hiring, firing, and means of production. I'm sure they're not going to turn over the industry of lawyers, whatever the legal industry or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure they're not going to take over that sector of industry to the hands of black people so that we can have a foot up above them. Like, they're still going to think in terms of self-preservation. So I hear what you're saying, but you're leaning too heavy on the individualistic fallacy. And that's something that racists use to justify colorblindness and saying that we're living a post-racial world and racism is over because I have a good heart. And the reason they use it is because they've been taught that white means innocent. A sister came up here earlier and said whiteness has the presumption of innocence. And they don't like it when they're not innocent. And so what they do is they try to prove to you that they are innocent, that they are good people, because they feel uncomfortable when they're guilty until proven innocent. And in the conversation about race, they are guilty until proven innocent. And I think it's weird when a black man says he's not afraid of people that is the reason he's speaking English right now. The fact that you're speaking English, if you're in America at least, I don't know, maybe you're from somewhere else, but even if you're anywhere in the Western Hemisphere and a descendant of anyone that was brought here in the transatlantic slave trade in the past 400 years, then the fact that you are speaking English is a result of violence done to your people. How can we know that this violence continues today and still say love is love and the individual is not racist because they choose not to be? How do you know they're going to wake up and choose that every day? All right, I gotta let somebody else talk. The next person, Quick Cake, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
My age is 48. My race is American Indian by grandmother, black by nature, and black. I'm a straight female.
Don't come up here if you don't know your race. Do not come up here if you don't know your race. American Indian is not a race. Georgia, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. What's going on? Georgia. All the time in Georgia. Remember that song, Ludacris? Georgia May, you here? I don't think she's here. Sir, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
All right. 57, African American, and my pronoun is big sexy.
All right, talk to us.
I think the questions are facts. So just for interest's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and take the antithesis. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Be careful.
And say, huh?
I said just be careful. Playing
All
with
right.
fire.
Oh, definitely. I'm a pyromaniac.
All right, we gonna find out.
All right. So since I'm taking antithesis, so then I say no. It's freedom. We're talking about freedom. You should be free to marry whoever and date whoever you want.
Okay. So you think black people are free?
As of, 1863 or 65?
So you believe the institution of racism made black people free?
Well, this is actually kind of hard to do. I'm trying to take the antithesis. So what I'm gonna say is
Did I
that we
say
made
institution of racism? I meant institution of slavery. My
slavery.
bad. Yeah.
No, it didn't make us free. We made ourselves free.
So that's not what I meant. You're saying the abolishment of the institution of slavery is what made black people free, whether it was by our own hand or the quote unquote pen of Abraham Lincoln. You're saying that once that ended, black people in America had the same rights as everyone else?
I'm going to say it like this. Because of all the slavery revolts and all the things that we did that forced Abraham Lincoln's hand.
I don't need a history lesson. I understand that. But what I'm saying is you said that we have freedom to love who we want to love. And so then my next question is, do you believe you as a black man have the same freedoms as a white person?
Yes.
There's a quote by, I'm just going to speak to how not new this train of thought is. During the institution of slavery, there's a quote by Harriet Tubman where she said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I helped free 1,000 slaves. And I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were enslaved. During the institution of slavery, there were people that thought their master was their business partner because they refused to acknowledge the predicament they were in. So if you're going to use 1865 as the day that, black people were free and ignore the other 139 years of systemic oppression against black people, or actually I think we're at 166 now. I think it was like 139 years of Jim Crow. But either way, you're saying basically to me, you sound like a slave that don't want to acknowledge systemic oppression.
Okay. Whether they acknowledge it or not, let's not get caught up on that. As far as being free, freedom is a state of mind. And during that time, even, I mean, you're aware of the fact that the folks back then, as far as the black folks.
Blackness is a state of being.
Okay. I guess I would agree with that. There are some things, you know, people try to get philosophical or whatever, but there's certain things that you can't deny, even though people deny it. Just like those slaves who were enslaved and denied that they were in slavery. They were still enslaved.
That's how you sound. You're telling me in a world where more black men are in chains right now, the mass prison industrial complex, there are more black men in that institution because we traded one institution for another. We had the institution of slavery that put us on plantations. Now we have the prison industrial complex and the institution of incarceration, which also, ironically, not even ironically, intentionally, puts black men on plantations picking cotton, believe it or not, for free. You can look this up. They're really picking cotton. And more of them are incarcerated today than there ever was during the institution of slavery. There were 4 million slaves from the first slaves brought to America until 1865. There have been 10 million black men incarcerated between 1990 and 2024. That's more than double in like 3 decades.
All right. Well, you know, consider this. The power of thought is freedom. And if...
Yo, come on, man.
So you disagree with that?
The power of thought? Man, yeah. I just told you, blackness is a state of being. I could sit here and think all I want. I could think up a storm, and I'm going to open my eyes and still be a black man, whether I want to think about it or not. And the fact that I'm a black man immediately puts me in harm's way as long as systemic racism operates.
Yeah, it's a real danger. But again, the power of thought, depending upon how you carry yourself and how you move, there are certain ways to abate those dangers.
So just because I use an umbrella in the rain doesn't mean it's not raining outside. The fact that I have to use energy to keep myself dry in the rain is oppression. Because in order to mitigate the effects of systemic oppression, I would need to exert force. That means I don't have privilege. Privilege is when you don't have to exert force and you can walk in the rain and not get wet. However, privilege is a power that people don't know they have. Privilege is not having to think about race at all and moving throughout life freely and using words like love and meaning it as just love. Racism makes everything not what it's supposed to be, including love. So when we talk about love in, the black community, we have to think about how we're going to protect ourselves from the effects of systemic racism. There are many ways to do that. 4 of them, actually. We can either submit, cooperate, resist, or retaliate. No one breathing chooses retaliation. Retaliation is like,
suicide.
Yeah, go ahead. Your phone is breaking up, sir.
Can you hear? Maybe it's the way that I'm talking.
Okay, I hear you better now.
All right, yeah, it's the way I was holding the phone. All right, but the point that you made, the example that you gave as far as, privilege and those things was a great example of how systemic racism, changes those things or defines it. So it's the same way with freedom. Same argument can be made towards that. If you choose to be free, you do have to fight through that thing of systemic racism.
Well, that's not freedom. If you have to fight to remain free, that's not freedom. Our ancestors had to run off of a plantation, and then after they made it to the north, they had to dodge catchers that would find them and send them back to a plantation. Every day they had to keep their head on a swivel in order to remain free. So having to think about how you're going to survive in an environment hostile towards you is not freedom. Freedom is not having to think about anything and just having your freedom acknowledged.
Well, freedom might be different for us, or clearly is different for us. But freedom is still a very powerful
Freedom
thing.
is different. That's not freedom. It's freedom or you ain't. You're either free or you're not. It's not. There's no in between. It's half freedom. Half freedom is oppression. That's how that works.
Okay, well, I'll say this, that freedom is what we want. We may have to define it differently. Like you made a good statement earlier.
Can't redefine freedom. Why we got redefine freedom? How you gonna do that? How you gonna redefine freedom to fit the construct that oppresses you?
No, not to fit it, but to claim it for ourselves. Here's the thing that you said earlier today, a little earlier, you was talking about how racism works and what racism is by definition. Racism is a team sport, and people try to make it an individual thing. I think you called it the individual fallacy. And that's what
Individualistic fallacy.
Yeah. So that's what people try to do to make it fit their understanding and conceptualization of it. Because to accept that it's a team sport, and and all of these motherfuckers are horrible, just logically, I guess it's the humanistic thing. It's hard for them to accept that, so they go with the individualistic fallacy. So let me get back to my point as far as the freedom thing. Maybe we need to change the way that we look at it to obtain it. For instance, the pioneers back in the day who decided to retaliate understood that death was coming. It's a little bit different now, and we're more removed from it, which is why we have less freedom fighters or pioneers like that, because it's almost intrinsic. People, they have such a good system. You understand if you do anything against the system, you're going to be taken out. So nobody wants to do that. So maybe we need a different definition to make it more attractive of freedom, to make people gravitate towards it again.
So if we're not retaliating, what are we doing? I give you 3 other options: resistance, cooperation, and submission. These are the only 4 options, along with retaliation. These are only 4 options of someone battling systemic oppression.
This is resistance.
Okay, so with resistance, you're saying resistance is freedom.
Yeah.
If you're free, you don't have to resist.
And you always have to resist.
No, you don't.
Well, you do.
Sir, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. I'll be honest.
Like I said, I'm trying to take the counterpoint. Clearly,
I know. It's just,
But hold on,
if we could take the counterpoint and steer it into the logical realm, because that don't make any sense. If you have to resist something, you're not free because you have an obligation to resist.
To resist complacency.
Resist complacency. I don't know. Oh, my wife came home with food. What's that, salad? Oh, she came home with food. All right. Shout out to Jess. She know what's popping. How you doing? Man, you fine.
I got a question, brother.
What's going on?
This is my question. Let's break it down in a simplistic form. If there is a donut and I want a donut, why do I have to change it to a Danish when I want a donut?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we redefining what freedom is? The fact that we have to redefine it lets you know we ain't free. But It was a nice try, sir. I'm gonna go on to the next guest. There's more people that want to talk. We ain't gonna get nowhere with that one. Thank y'all for tapping like. We're gonna bring the comments back when we get to 75K. So keep tapping like, tapping like, tapping like. Appreciate y'all. Shaka.
Peace. What it do, brother? What it do?
What's going on, man? Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, they sniped my other account earlier today.
Keep calling them the devil.
Hey, you know me. I can't help it. I try to spare him, brother. Lynch. I really do be trying to spare him, but you can't satisfy him. You can't. So I'm done trying to satisfy him.
Yeah, I heard that. Go ahead and talk to us.
What's good, chat? For those who knew, my name is Shaka Sankofu. You know what I'm saying? My age is 21. My pronouns, he, him. My race, black or African, unapologetically. Black laws or black liberation. All black people around the world, no matter where you at, you could be in Antarctica. Still, you need liberation. You know what I'm saying? And to the others, what's up? Are interracial relationships unethical? Yes, interracial relationships are unethical because when you can't sleep your way to freedom. I don't care who you is, you cannot sleep your way to freedom. That has never been done before in the history of the world. Anybody was able to sleep their way to freedom. You cannot, and if you want to talk about other relationships, you cannot friendship your way to freedom. You cannot friendship your way to freedom. I don't care how many white T folks you friends with, you will never get free. You will never get free because those white T folks were really the friends they claim to be, right? You know what I'm saying? They will be trying to help fix your condition. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just sitting around and talking about like, yeah, I agree, Tyrone, and stuff like that. Politically, we cannot have a relationship with these people because that won't get us free. No type of relationship with these people are ethical because they don't want to see change. You know what I'm saying? They just see us as objects. And they make that known. They seen us as objects for the past 400 years. And that's how it is. So interracial relationships are unethical. Are interracial dating preferences prejudice? Or for black people, you know what I'm saying, you can't prejudge nobody. You know what I'm saying? But for these white T folks, you know what I'm saying, they already have these stereotypes about us. They are not properly educated about us. So, you know what I'm saying, they think if they come to the relationship or friendship or whatever we have going on with them, think if they spew some basic stereotype that they down, you know what I'm saying, or they come to the barbecue. Nothing is genuine with these people. You know what I'm saying? Not even a piece of paper that they write on. You know what I'm saying? A piece of paper that they write on ain't valuable. All these papers that they done signed, quote unquote, to help combat racism, they ain't one that changed anything because you still find brothers and sisters being strange fruited. You still got our brothers and sisters being mass incarcerated at a high level, you know what I'm saying? You got medical racism. You even got religious racism, you know what I'm saying? Racism is everywhere, and we gotta look at the root of the problem. Is the white T folks. People gotta stop saying that it's just the system. You know what I'm saying? The system is like a spider web, and the only way to tear down this white T spider web is to take down the venomous white T spider. You know what I'm saying? So I land my plane. You know what I'm saying? Separation is the best and only solution, brothers and sisters. And never forget who the devil is. You know what I'm saying? Teach yourself, remind yourself. I try to remind myself every day, especially when I'm brushing my teeth and gargling, you know what I'm saying? Every day you wake up, you know what I'm saying? No matter what you do, you gotta remind yourself who the devil is, who the defeater is, who the oppressor is, the number one enemy. You know what I'm saying? I always remember, teach your babies who the number one enemy is. Teach every generation who the number one enemy is. Always teach your baby to resist to exist. You know what I'm saying? Resist to exist. I land my plane.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother Chaka. Bringing us back. We back. That was a full meal he just gave y'all. So we back. And let me go to the next guest. FF in Greedy. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
29, black, and he, him, his.
All right, talk to us.
Okay, yeah, are interracial relationships unethical? Yes. Are into relationship I don't know. But yes, also.
I heard that.
Because like for real, like okay, I got a white tee homeboy. He'll even tell you like he'll tell me like you can get them girls, but it's about fetish. Whether he hating or not, it's the truth. And it's like the bet like let's say the best black person. That's the only one that they gonna go for. And it's always gonna be the worst white person that's gonna go for the black. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. It ain't like you gonna get a top tier male or female white tee person who finna just be like, yeah, I'm finna go black and I ain't going back. That's not gonna happen. That's all I gotta say.
I heard that. Some of us understand that you ain't. When you get with one of them, you ain't getting nothing but the crumbs. As we were saying earlier, when a frosted female gets with a brother, there's usually some way that she was rejected by her own community. Whether it's because she's a feminist, she shaved her head bald, and she got a bunch of piercings and tattoos. We get the Iggy Azaleas. They keep all the Taylor Swifts and the Ivanka Trumps to themselves. And not saying we should want any of those anyway.
Right, it's a trick.
But because she's been rejected by her own people, she comes to the black man. So, absolutely. Well, appreciate that word, brother. You live up to the wait. Who's that in your profile?
That's just AI.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Huey for a moment there. And you an Aquarius. All right, I see you. All right. WW Vibes, you here? You with us? WW Vibes. I hope it's not white women vibes. We might be in trouble. Oh, did they drop? No, they still here. WW Vibes. Probably on the phone. Thank y'all for getting us to 75K. Thank y'all for supporting the gift goal. We just up here trying to teach, reinforce teaching. I hope y'all have been learning. I hope y'all been paying attention, taking notes. Hope this live will empower you with some counter narratives to what we've been taught in social media. I seen somebody talking about Malcolm X when he said black people. He was talking about Asians, Arabs, and Latinos as well. I made a video about that the other day. Those comments look spooky, man. But those comments look wild. Somebody said because Malcolm X was anti-imperialist and anti-Zionist, that when he spoke about black people in his lectures, he was referring to everyone oppressed, including Asians, Arabs, and Latinos. I saw that video, I almost threw my phone. I almost threw my phone. Let's not act like Brother Malcolm wasn't a black nationalist and wasn't strategically focused intentionally on the liberation of African people in the West, specifically in the United States, of course, but that's just where he wanted to start at. He wanted to continue to liberate African Americans first and then spread out to the rest of the Western Hemisphere, because he felt like Harlem would be our power base in the United States, the most powerful country in the West. So he saw it as, if I can liberate us in the United States, then we can go all the way to the brothers and sisters all the way down to Brazil and everywhere else, But don't be watching this misinformation on this tickety talk, man. Telling you, some of y'all, your heads be spinning. Well, if anybody else want to request, send up the requests. Come on up. Let us know what you think about the topics up above. Shaka, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I hope they don't try to change nobody else's word.
Yeah, listen, man, and I'm tempted. I'm tempted. Amani saw it. Okay, yeah, that original video was infuriating, and that's not the first time she spread. Oh, really? Listen, man, if y'all see some BS, send it to me because I'm gonna respond. I really was tempted to post Malcolm X's whole OAAU speech, the speech that he gave when he got back from Gaza and got back from Africa. People mention, oh yes, Malcolm X went to Gaza and he said that, liberation for everyone. But they washing over the fact that Malcolm X on that trip visited 7 different African leaders, seven
Exactly.
different African countries. He didn't go to Gaza and come home and say, I gotta stop the Zionists. Nah. He said, okay, how does white supremacy operate in other parts of the world? Okay, Zionism is a branch of white supremacy, which is the same thing going on with black people in the United States. So he made that connection, but he did also go to 7 different countries, including Ethiopia, and met with Haile Selassie. He went to Kenya and met with the who would soon be the first president of Kenya, Kenyatta. He also went to Ghana and sat down with Kwame Nkrumah. And then he came back and formed the OAAU, and that was to specifically focus on how he could use all this understanding of Western imperialism and how Africans were able to liberate themselves at that time from colonization. They all got their quote unquote independence, and he wanted to know what we could do in the United States like the Africans did, and he also wanted to know his enemy. So he understood Zionism and spoke out about that. But then he also, in the last letter he typed in his typewriter, the last thing he typed down, was an interview where he also holds Arabs accountable for following the tenets of Islam that they claim to hold so dear, brotherhood and unity, and saying that in Africa there's a lot of sentiment against Arabs and Asians, and that they have to set an example in the Arab world, to live up to what they preach. What's
Yeah,
going? Yeah,
my
go
bad.
ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was gonna say because I had this argument with a white T person one time, but see, they love bringing up when Malcolm went to Mecca. You know what I'm saying? They be
Yeah.
like, well, he went to Mecca. He really found out what about Islam. And I'm like, well, Khalid Muhammad went to Mecca 6 different times, and he seen racism as thick as a knife. He
Right.
literally almost got arrested because he had to stop an Arab from snatching up an old black woman. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So, that's what, man.
Malcolm
That didn't
saw it
make him
too.
soft. That's what everybody want to be like. He came back from Mecca and was like, "Ooh, kumbaya."
Yeah, and
Are
I'm
you
like, well, we got
freaking kidding
somebody
me?
else who was
And
in.
if I remember right, Malcolm was unalive 2 weeks after he came back from there. So what do that tell you? They saw it coming. The
Yeah.
unity coming, and they was like, just like they only killed MLK because he started talking about Vietnam. He still be here sliding in and falling in and singing "We Shall Overcome" if he had never said nothing about Vietnam. Trust and believe that. They was like, "Oh no, you ain't about to mess our paper up.
Yeah.
Too many people listening to you, so no, you gotta go."
Right.
They say Buck Dance and Jesse knew it was gonna happen too.
Yeah. I seen that interview. Oh, who said that? Was it James Smalls?
I heard it from the Steve Coakley.
Yeah.
Just say,
There was an interview where the man said that Jesse, when he was on the balcony, right after that happened to Martin, he basically put the blood on his own shirt.
"Oh yeah, he grabbed him and smeared the blood, walked around for a few days with the blood on his shirt." Yeah.
What?
That's crazy.
Everybody, well, not everybody, but all of us old heads knew he did that, opportunist asshole. Now, I'll give everybody they just do. Don't get me wrong, but he took that as an opportunity, to do his thing. So yeah, he hugged him and got his blood on him, and walked around for the longest doing all of that. And everybody says who was the one alerted that they all was gonna be out on that balcony at that particular time, because it was not James Earl Ray that they say was supposedly the person that did it. He didn't do it, and he even admitted he didn't. And it was timed. All the police were called away from that area in Memphis, right? And how did the unaliver that was across the street gonna know exactly when all of them was gonna be out there and where Martin was gonna be? I actually stood over that part. The stain is still in the concrete. If you go down there to Memphis to see it. Yeah. So that was a whole setup too. All the police being out of the area. Come on now.
Wow.
It's a trip.
I
Everybody
question.
should go down there and see there and stand there. I sure did, because I wanted to see it for myself. I'm from I was born in Memphis, so it was an old booty room hotel.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's what it was. And they wanted to make a museum out of it. I think somebody
They
bought
did.
it or did something. Yeah, but
I went as a kid.
Coretta didn't want it because she said, I don't want people to remember where he was unalived. I want them to remember, where he was. But, that's still part of our history, Coretta. So
Yeah.
it is a museum now.
You see,
Yeah.
I question whenever one of our leaders fighters ever got unalive, I question everything. Even if they say they unalive from an illness or something, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like, take for
Yeah.
example Muhammad Ali, man. Like that, I don't know. I might sound like some wild conspiracy theory. I don't think I don't think that he just ended up catching Parkinson from boxing. You feel? It's possible. Don't get me wrong. It's just, you know what I'm saying. Ali used to tell it how it was. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
feel like they wanted to hush him up.
Yeah, because he was so popular. They said, even till today, they said his face is the most recognized face of anybody ever. Everybody from every ends of the earth knows who he is, and he still had his mind. It's just his body was
Yeah.
gone. You know what I mean? He still
Yeah.
made jokes, did all kind of stuff, even with the that, and he didn't never get hit in the head that many times. When a lot of people talk about, oh, he punched drunk. Where?
Yeah, like his whole fight, his
Yeah,
whole
he was
game
moving.
plan was made off of, you know what I'm saying, being elusive and dodging.
Right. And he didn't never get hit in the head that much. Not like that.
Yeah.
He said, I'm pretty. Ain't nobody gonna be hitting me in the
Can't touch me,
face.
I'm too pretty.
That was my man. Oh
You
my
know
God. That was
what's
the
wild to me is, sorry about that.
huh?
He doesn't get the civil rights leader credit that he deserves because he
Nope.
was an athlete. And I think he should be recognized as one. Because out of all of them, I'm gonna be honest. I think my favorite man that ever lived is Malcolm X. Love the man to death.
Yeah.
But even after his unaliving and Martin Luther King, for Muhammad to take the stance that he did, knowing, especially at that time, what he stood to lose, because the money he was getting was good, especially for a black man at that time,
Yeah.
Yep.
to say, no matter what, I don't care about that. I'm going to stand up for my people. To be
Right.
honest, I wish he was a little more fervent with it, but he's not. But LeBron is like, he teeters on the edge of that. Like, he wish he could be, but he can't go that far. You get what I'm saying? But that's why I wish Muhammad would get his just deserves on that, because I don't watch every interview that man did. I love him second to Malcolm. I hate Malcolm. I hate Malcolm's demise. I ain't gonna lie. It's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and these athletes today, they got more going for them than the brother. Look at Jim Brown, Gullah Geechee brother. You know what I'm saying? He stood up. A bunch of them did. I'm sorry. After so much money, like I always say, how much money do it take to be black? How much? How much do you
Not a
need to
dime.
have before you really make the stands you need to make? I just want to know what the dollar amount is. Because it's no excuse as far as I'm concerned. Look, even Muhammad Ali, remember he threw his medals in the ocean, his Olympic medals and stuff. He sure did.
Wow.
He was like, this shit don't mean nothing to me. If you
White T
still
folks at home.
doing my people.
No, white T folks at home. Oh my God.
Right.
That
Right.
Muhammad.
Right. I hate when they say Muhammad, Gaddafi.
Muhammad.
Oh
Yeah.
no, but if you watch Donahue when Khaled was on that, it's Khalid.
Yeah.
Right. That was my man too, and they got to him too.
Yeah.
No,
Some
yeah, man,
woman.
ain't no way he just go out of here from a brain aneurysm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Type of diet
He was
he had.
poisoned.
And they talking about something, all the stress. I'm like, he been yelling like that. No, I'm saying stress.
There wasn't no stress.
Yo, we got another person up here. Ra, give a share, age, race, and pronouns.
What's up, buddy? 46 or 47 today.
Happy birthday.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. Caucasian. I guess that's my.
White.
I
Caucasian ain't it no more.
Okay, well I am, but see, that's my point. Is I want everybody to understand that. Do you think Jesus is black?
I know he was.
And I do too.
I don't know if he was real, but I would hope he was black and he would resist you. He will resist you. He will resist you. He will resist you. I bet you if he was real, it was your people who crucified him. It was your people.
It
If he
wasn't
was real,
fucking me.
it was your people who crucified him.
It wasn't me.
Nah, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Okay.
If he
So
was
what's
real,
your
hey,
point?
brothers and sisters, I
Nah.
guarantee you, I put my soul on it. If he was real, these no good people was the reason he got crucified. They put him on that cross. If he was real, I would hope that he was a black man and that these devils was the ones who crucified him. I guarantee you.
Nah,
Now, I
see,
guarantee you, if he was real, he was black, and he walked in through your door and said, I'm back and I'm black, baby, you'll run. You'll call the police. He can't be Jesus. No.
Well, what is your point?
I don't have a point right now.
Well, then you don't need to be up here.
No, I don't, because I already see where this conversation is going.
Where is it going?
You're not
Where is it
trying
going?
to have
You the
a
one all
conversation.
off topic, but gone. Where is it going?
No, you wanted to know about interracial relationships, correct?
You didn't say nothing about interracial marriage.
Okay, well, what do you want to know about it?
We don't want to know anything.
Okay, so
We said it's unethical.
And how is that unethical?
Everybody
came from the same fucking place.
No, we didn't.
Okay,
No,
well,
we
you guys
didn't.
have a good night.
No, we didn't.
Please go. Good night.
You have a
Goodbye.
good night.
Have a
Thank you.
finish your
Do you
birthday.
want to
Get drunk. Go do
Do you
something.
want to compare your nature to my nature? There ain't no
No, don't even
conversation
worry
we want
about
to
him.
have.
Let him go. He said he's ready to go. Go.
No.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, run back to that cave.
And fuck you. How about that?
Your mama too.
Nah, you wanna talk
Your
shit? I can
mama.
talk
I
shit.
thought you was leaving.
Nah, fuck. Your
Get
mama
thee
said
behind
fucking.
me, Satan.
Oh God.
All right.
Ooh, this devil come out of. Ooh.
This sure do.
Always one.
Elf want for some
Life
holy
is a
water in the
beach.
chat. Throw some
What's
holy
going
water
on,
in the
sister?
chat messages.
Hello, my people. Thank y'all for running that demon out the room. Please thank y'all for running that demon out the room. But anyway, life, 54. I'm a whole black woman all day long. All day long.
But you know what?
Yes.
Let me go ahead and answer these questions right
Go
here.
ahead.
Are interracial relationships unethical? You know damn well they're unethical. And I'm about to tell you why. So let me tell you something. We just watched that sister, Sonia Massey, got pew-pewed in the face 3 times. And you got the nerve, they got the nerve to lay their ragged ass up there with them demons. What kind of conversation you gonna have with them white demons? What you gonna do, just ignore it? Walk in the house and pretend like it didn't happen? These ones out here, these black women and these black men, what kind of black woman and black man are you? And see what's going on around us. And you gonna go put your face and lay your body down next to one of them demons. What kind of man are you? What kind of black man are you to your core? You know, that woman called for help. And then they had the nerve to pew her in the face 3 times. She calling for help. But you know what? Some of them gonna do, they not gonna even discuss it. Because they cowards. They gonna just pretend like it didn't happen. Or we'll even have the nerves to say and blame her. That's sad when you a whole black man or you a black woman and you want to side with them and say what's going on is your own black people fault. What kind of bullshit is that? You know, you gonna be compelled. And then another thing, you get with them and then you feel like you compelled that you gotta go along to get along to make them to make them feel good, to validate their raggedy ass feelings. Just like that sister was up here. And this Igga, he done called a whole goddamn police on her, enough for her to lose her life. What kind of bullshit is that? You know what I'm saying? You know, they should be ashamed of themselves, you know. But you know what? That's a person that don't have no character, just a bad character, you know, just horrible people. No, they on there with that whole self-fetishism, self-hate, you know, all over a fetishism. You gonna sell your whole soul to go lay up with somebody. What kind of bullshit is that? You know, running away from themselves. I don't understand. And just have zero common sense. That's another thing I want to know. You gonna get with people that don't have, they not even smart, right? Ain't even smart. You know, at least you know if you got a sister, she gonna be 10 toes down, anything go down. You get with one of them heifers, they'll be telling on your ass all day long. Can't do shit. But that's who you want to be with. They don't know what loyalty is. Oh, and this was a big one here. You know them, they ready to unplug their mom and daddy right when the accident happened. Keep on marrying them. They gonna unplug your ass too. Or will encourage you to unplug your parents. They always talking about quality of life, quality of life. You know, we don't roll like that. We hold on to our loved ones till we can't hold on no goddamn more. But they ass ready to unplug somebody. They unplug mama, daddy, grandpa, and oh, the doctor come out, unplug them. But that's what you want to go marry. And I'm going to land my plane right there.
You know, you just gotta let them. You know they put on the fake tears too. You know, you just gotta let them go, buddy. It's gonna be
Man,
okay. They're gonna go on to another place. They don't have to suffer anymore.
they're gonna not have that conversation. She right. They not the only way you're gonna remain comfortable married to your significant powdered donut, your insignificant other, is if you don't have that conversation. Because and that's another thing too, is like they have to act like that wouldn't be them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that couldn't happen to them. That's just it's disgusting to me. I couldn't do it.
All in all, I think white T people, and this is the truth, they afraid of unalignment. You know what I'm saying? And this is real. They afraid of the natural order of things. That's why they always got to control things. That's why they trying to clone all these animals. You know what I'm saying? The dodo bird, saber-tooth tiger, the mammoth, all that. You know what I'm saying? They see themselves. These people have wanted to have the biggest God complex on the planet. Every single last one of them. You know what I'm saying? The white tee man, you see and they pledge allegiance to the flag, talking about some one nation under God. They think the United States is just utopia. You know what I'm saying? They think it's heaven. You know what I'm saying? That's why I be telling brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, when they be talking about holding up America, don't try to hold up America or something. Like you got these FBAs and junk talk like they gonna take America. You know what I'm saying? These white T folks says not. Boy, I wish they would. They march up in Congress talking about we here to take America. Watch how them white T folks at. Watch how them white T folks at. They ain't, but they'll give up their life before they give up America. They'll give up their life before they give up America. They
And one
will.
more, and one more thing, brother, Legend, I wanted to say, yeah, you could hear the YT woman at home. He come in and he bring up Sister Massey passing away. She'd be like, "Oh, Reggie, why do you want to bring that up and ruin our evening?" Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of bullshit right there. That
Yeah.
bullshit right there. You know what his ass gonna do? He gonna just shut up
Shut
and
up.
pretend like it didn't happen
Yeah. I've been in
to
that room.
please his milk queen.
I've been in that room when young Dolph, I mean, this is nothing like Sonia Massey, but when young Dolph was unalive, I was in a music studio and my friend who's a brother had one of the label artists come through, and it was a white girl, and I brought it up and the brothers just turned to me like and I'm like I'm like, oh man, young Dolph. And it just, her whole mood, like she just couldn't, be troubled or burdened with reality. Like, it's really dark. It's so dark. Like, we need to lighten up the mood now. I feel sad. Like, I'm
but
sorry.
it's life. It happens to everybody.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the people that y'all coming up here to defend. That's you love them. You love them. Yeah, you. Yeah, that's your man's. Yeah, that's your woman.
When you bring it up to some brothers and sisters about how they did it wrong, I'm like, well, man, I just love everybody.
Yeah, you love them. Yeah. You know, I get that from that video where they like, I heard they caught your man on sex offense charges. Yeah. He hang with you. Yeah, you love the white man. Yeah, you love them Beckys. But poetic logic, what's going on?
Peace, brother. How you doing?
Peace. Talk to us.
So, my name's Poetic Logic. Age 36. Race Black African. Pronouns he and him. So,
all right, talk to us.
Yeah. In regard to our interracial relationships, unethical. Absolutely, they are unethical. There is really one universal truth in this world, and that the black man should be with the black woman. When we realize how powerful we are together, that's when we can really shake things up. We need to stop letting the colonizers completely separate us, and do the whole divide and conquer tactic that they've been doing for centuries. So, many of us, feel that we're in a state where we need to be comfortable. But come on now, we don't have time to be comfortable. It's time for action. People need to wake up. So, our interracial dating preferences, prejudice. I feel that they are, especially when it comes to, black people dating white people and white people dating black people. I mean, there's just way too much, to deal with, systemically that's there, and it doesn't make sense. Like, if you're gonna trauma bond with somebody in a prison, You know, the last thing that you should be doing is trauma bonding with your captor, you know, or the prison guard. So with that being said, you know, we gotta do better. I land my plane.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't tell me that you found you a white unicorn that understands racism, understands they have white privilege, understands the context of your people and they people, and then going to turn around and trauma bond with someone that they know they the one that caused trauma. That don't make no sense. You know, why not be with someone that has an equal level of privilege in society? You know, why not, if you such an anti-racist, work with people that actually have the power to dismantle racism, that actually have the power, should have the priority to do it. You know, something that's been a problem, a burden in their thorn, a thorn in their flesh, because it is. You know, they don't see it that way because they see it as a need for self-preservation. But at the end of the day, racism has cost America trillions of dollars. They said $13 trillion. That's the whole. That's a big chunk of cash. You know.
And then what I was gonna say, then to make matters worse about the whole thing is, bro, about interracial relationships. One day, I want to say, I was talking. It was like a few months back. I was on live with a sister. You know what I'm saying? A very beautiful sister. You know what I'm saying? Don't quote me on that. Shocker, not tender now. But but she was, you know what I'm saying, the baby of one of these no good, you know what I'm saying, people. And the woman, the Karen, basically dated a brother from the continent and told the beautiful sister to her face, this smart, beautiful queen, that she told her to her face, it said, I'm more African than you because my husband is from Africa. And if you would have been there to heard the silence, bro, like, exactly. I ain't making this up, y'all. I'm dead serious. My right hand. You can take my right hand. She said it out her mouth. I'm more African than you because my husband is from Africa. It's a one-day wear. It's gonna be some consequences to that one day. There's gonna be some consequences to that one day. Trust me.
Don't be there when they ready for their liberation. Don't
You
be
ain't gonna
there
be
when they doing these protests in Nigeria. Big up to Nigeria. Y'all doing some work out there out here.
until it's the white T men and women. When these brothers and sisters really wake up, you ain't gonna be coming in their faces saying that y'all sleeping with their spouses. I swear to God, when they really wake up, and that's for
Well,
everyone.
somebody should have punched him in his face. Oh my God. For her to think that she ain't got it like that, that's because of him.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. Honest to God, y'all know how that brother jumped on that one judge? If she would have been in sight, would have been looking like a Black Panther going.
He hopped right over that bench. He ain't get. I remember that. You see that video? He hopped right over that. Yo, was like she gave him a sentence or something. He was like surprised. He just jumped over that.
The
Man, he
ancestors
summoned his
that
power. Hit her with the Raiden move.
He flew, boy. I was like, damn, he should be with Simone Biles. That
Right.
flip.
he channeled his internet, turning that moment.
Yeah, he sure did. All right, y'all. We got somebody new up here. Queen, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing well.
Yeah.
My name's Nicole. I'm married to a black man. I'm white. And I have, I guess I share a lot of what you're saying. I agree with. Although for myself and my husband, we met, we had a friendship, it developed into our relationship. But for me, I feel like unless you are willing to take on the responsibility, I don't know what it is to be black. I was raised white. So a lot of things that my children need to know, I have to allow him to do that. And I have to teach myself a lot of things because they have to be strong in how they are and what they present out there. A lot of people look at my kids, they don't see me, they see him, and they have to learn a lot of things that maybe I can't teach them. So I feel like, is it
So then why you with
unethical?
him?
Oh, I love my husband. I love my children.
It ain't
But I
about
think,
love. You just talked about all those harmful things that you can't teach your child. Why did you put yourself in this situation?
Why put your children in that situation?
well, my children are doing very well. My
Are they?
children, they are.
Do
Are
you
they?
have a girl?
I have both.
That girl. That girl gonna be messed up.
She has a lot of strong people in her life, and she has a lot of good family in her life. And my
But can she
children,
get the hell away from you? That's the question. That's the question. Because now you're telling her that her mother looks like her oppressor. So is she going to empathize with people outside of the household that look like her mother? Is she going to want to be like her mother?
it's a hard conversation, but they're very aware of the people that look like me and the things that they
They
have
can't be
done.
that aware.
They are very aware.
Are
Then
they aware y'all
why wasn't your husband aware?
He is aware as well.
He can't be aware. Can't be aware. He wouldn't have did what he did.
I have to agree to
Would you
disagree
say
on
that
that
your
one.
husband is pro-black?
He is
How
so
so?
in many aspects, but he doesn't feel that every white person is bad.
That's not pro-black then. He ain't pro-black.
That's
First of
true.
all, I mean, I'm gonna roll that back a little bit. All right. So, do you believe there are good racists?
No.
Why not?
Well, why would there be good in racism?
Well, when we talk about good, talking about someone that is polite, someone that is respectable, someone that's maybe even to themselves honorable. Do you believe that all racist people are, inherently these bigoted, prejudiced, overtly bigoted people? Like, do you believe that there are good, kind-hearted racists out there?
No, I don't. I don't think that's possible.
Are you racist?
Am I racist?
Yeah,
No, I am not.
that child is doomed. That daughter is doomed. All right, so you're not racist, and you said you're white, right?
I am.
Okay, so what distinguishes you from a racist?
What do you mean by that?
How did you know? Did you wake up one day and you looked at the clock and you weren't racist anymore? Like, how did you find out you were no longer racist? Or do you always feel like you were never racist?
I wasn't raised that way.
He didn't ask how you were raised. We're asking, do you feel you've ever been racist? It's not
No,
how you raised. We talking about you and the decisions you've made in your life.
no, I can't say that I have been. I'm not perfect, but no, racism, that hasn't been a part of my life.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Francis.
so in a system where even someone that's not cognizant of their racism, they are inherently racist, it behooves someone that claims to no longer be a racist to actually work to dismantle racism, because racism is the default in society. Do you agree with reparations?
I do.
Okay. And what do you think is the difference between you and a racist white person?
I do not.
What have you done to distinguish yourself other than procreate with a black man?
I have a big responsibility in teaching my children things that I had to teach myself
Will you
first.
teach them that
And
white
that's,
people are the devil?
in some cases, I have had to, yes.
Not in some cases.
Do you
Will
agree
you
that
teach
you are?
them that all white people are inherently dangerous to them, including yourself?
No,
Do
Why
you?
not
don't you
all.
teach them that?
Because for myself, I would never be a danger to my children because I'm teaching them the things that they need to know. My husband is teaching them the
All right,
things that
so, all right, no, he's not. So, if 1,000 snakes were coming through a doorway and you were sitting on a couch in a room and 1,000 snakes start coming through the doorway, and I told you that some of those snakes wouldn't bite you, would you get on your knees and try to find the ones that wouldn't bite you to let them in the door? Or would you slam the door on all the snakes?
they're very aware of what they need to be looking
Answer the
out for
question.
in their life.
Answer the question.
In a matter of speaking, they are aware of that.
I'm going to say it again. If you were sitting on a couch and there was a door across the room and you saw 1,000 snakes about to come through the door, and I told you that there were some good ones in there that would not bite you, but the rest of them would you let the snakes come into your house, or would you get down and try to distinguish where the good ones are and try to hope that the rest don't bite you?
It just doesn't work that way.
And explain to me how it works.
My children are very aware of what they are dealing with white people. They are very aware of that. They have very few around them. But they are not going to be taught that everyone that they come into contact with is the devil either.
Do you agree that you are the devil?
Do I what?
Stop playing with her, Shaka. Hold on. Because I hope y'all are learning. I hope y'all are learning what we're talking about. Because we talk about the three ways that white women have been consistent in upholding the system of racism by turning the allegiance of black people away from their own liberation and trying to convince them that they are the safe space in white supremacy. So we talk about these three ways consistently. She does it with the black man by saying, I'm one of the good snakes. So there are others like me. Oh, she ran. She ran. We didn't even have to paw her down, man. But anyway, they convince the black man, because I love you, there are other ones that love you too. And then she convinces the black women that we're sisters. It's a sisterhood. It's about the patriarchy. Men are the problem. Your men are the problem too. And then she convinces the biracial child, you're black and white. You don't have an allegiance to liberating your people that's been oppressed by my people. No. That's not the issue. You're black and white. You have to experience both cultures. Even though white people don't got no culture. They literally don't. Other than power being a form of violence. That's pretty much their culture. That's what they
A rope
contributed.
and a tree.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I was
Well,
trying.
you heard her say they weren't even around that many white people. You heard what she said? And I kind of am a little offended. Queen.
I know. That's why I didn't say it again. I was mad. I was mad.
I'm like,
How dare you come on a black? How dare you come on a black panel and try to trick us into calling you a queen when every time we've had to call one of your people a queen, it's been because of colonization.
I got a problem. Even when brothers said, "Oh, this is my queen," what? Oh, you don't know? That's another cringe-worthy moment.
It sure is.
Along with Van Jones.
Van Jones. Oh my goodness. How many of y'all seen Van Jones crying on, getting choked up, talking about Joe Biden, Snow Biden? Van
Stepping
Jones.
down.
Yeah. He raised me. Master loved me. I love you, Master. He gave me food to eat when I was hungry.
Master, is we sick? Oh,
Right.
you just gonna have to step down, Master. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, what is eyes gonna do? A grown ass black man on network TV crying like a bitch.
He keep crying. Why he keep crying like that?
For everything.
Everything. Like, man, always crying, bro. I don't know. I think that's what Kim Kardashian coochie do. I don't know.
Something I don't get about brothers and sisters. We have all the energy for. Let me give y'all an example. Out on the block, we, you know what I'm saying, brothers at each other. One small Power Ranger, weak white T-boy can come through and put all of them on the wall. You get on the wall. You get on the wall. You get on the wall. But all y'all gangster and bad.
Yeah. What's going on, Timothy?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Peace, man.
Out here living lavish.
Yes, sir. Talk to us, family.
Yeah, that was an interesting display. I only caught like the very last end of it, but yeah, she was trying to avoid that question hard.
Yeah, you know, she got to.
Yeah.
She probably telling her man right now, your people don't like me. See, this is why I'm not teaching them that. You know, like, you know, how you going to tell your children, bruh? I'm teaching my child that every white tea person you see, be on alert. Be on alert. Because you can't tell from across the room whether or not they dangerous to you or not. So assume they're dangerous. But I bet you she'll teach her daughter when she's around men. I bet you she'll teach her daughter when she's around black men that you know, don't talk to strangers. Be careful around them. You know what I'm saying? It's like we should be on that same defense around them, especially with our children.
Right.
But because she's a good white woman in her own eyes, she's going to now tell the biracial child and her husband that good white people exist, and you can't just say that they're all snakes because, you know, you got to leave the door open so some of them can get in. Don't, you know, like, nah. And when they say that they're teaching their children, they're not teaching them this. They're not teaching them what they need to know in order to navigate a world that is anti-black. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. Go ahead, Brother Timothy.
No, it's real. That's the
Upsets
reality.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's see, I literally saw this comment not too long ago. I think it was on Cron Space of this YT woman who was saying that, see, this is why I'm not going to teach I'm going to make sure that I teach my biracial children not to think like y'all. And that's the extreme danger of dabbling in the milk, because you are literally procreating with people that are going to miseducate black biracial people into thinking that somehow they are not black, which is the most ridiculous concept on the planet. Like it's
because they gotta learn that their blackness is going to make them susceptible to harm by white people. They can't try to empathize with their oppressor because their mother is an oppressor. They don't matter who your mother is. You can love your mom, but don't love her people. And a white woman's never going to teach her black biracial child not to love her people. She's going to try to teach them that it's okay, that they should assume that whiteness is true and innocent and presumed innocent. See, that's the problem. Whiteness, when you look it up, it means purity. It means without blemish. It's got all those nice connotations to it. And it means innocence. And so white people don't like it when we talk about whiteness with a presumption of guilt in the context of race.
And then they both try to say it's both sides, and I'm like, man, so we did. Well, when I ask them, so are you saying there's black devils out there too? They were like, yeah. I'll be like, name some.
Right. Please. Who has been the devil to you?
Idi Amin.
Idi Amin was a messenger from God. That was a messenger from the ancestors. I wish we had Idi Amin energy. Man, enough brothers don't really know about him. Enough brothers and sisters really don't know about him.
They do know it's just the Western propaganda that they painted on him. Like trying to say he ate his own people. He was just this ruthless dictator. No, he was only a ruthless dictator because he was giving y'all hell.
Crazy. Black Facts Matter. Will you finish, brother? We got some people here.
Every time I hop up onto a panel, that's when all of a sudden my phone decides to be the most popular.
Something going on. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but now I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, but that's the reality. You see that it benefits them and it benefits the constructs of racism, white supremacy for them to promote that somehow the minute that their genetics is introduced into the gene pool by dabbling with black people, that now all of a sudden you are a new thing. Like, oh, you're just brand new. Oh, hey, you no longer have to actually deal with any of the issues that are very much so a part of the people that I decided to unethically engage in a relationship with. And it's very much so an issue. It's unfortunate that so many of our African family don't see it. They're just thinking about like, oh, this person wants to dabble with me. And look, it's a person who I have been indoctrinated to believing as being the pinnacle of success. Oh man, this person who is supposedly this socially constructed concept of success now wants to dabble with me. Like, no, they want to they're fetishizing you. They want access to your body because they spent centuries having access to your body. And they want to continue the process. You're just sitting here not knowing what exactly it is that they're trying to do. And they're hopeful of that. There was even one space where there's this YT woman who had done, or at least supposedly talked about how she had done a lot of research into finding out about more into anti-racism and actively trying to be a person who was being as beneficial to every other community that's oppressed as possible and all this other nonsense. And then she goes on to say that she has a black boyfriend. And then she goes on to talk about how she understands that the relationship between her and her black boyfriend is unethical and that it should not happen. But at the same time, I think you were there, brother. But yeah, at the same time, she was like, well, I'm not going to tell him that, though. I'm going to let him just eventually figure it out. Maybe.
I remember we had the one up here where she was, all in it. And then I said, well, then does it apply to you and your husband? Well, I love my husband. And, I said, you can't talk out of both sides of your neck. You know what I mean? Oh, it's wrong and unethical for every other couple but you. Right.
My children are actually doing very well.
You know, why?
I just saw in the comments they said was Kamala Harris and her husband unethical.
Yeah. Oh, no, I ain't mean to cuss, but
Y'all
yeah.
gone. That's a good one.
In a world where Sonia Massey is unalived in her own kitchen by a police officer, a white tee police officer with schmatzy tattoos on his arm, for us to have a black woman who was head of, well, I don't know her exact position, but she had something to do with the police department, running
Did
for,
she?
yeah, she did, right? She was the DA or something. Am I tripping?
I don't know. I haven't. I don't know.
Yeah, because they keep saying, she's running against a convicted felon, and she was part of law enforcement, or she was a DA. Somebody in the comments know, what was she? Oh,
You talking about Kamala or
Yeah,
Sonia?
Kamala.
Oh, yeah.
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 So we live in a world where one sister is unalived by police in her own living room, and then
Mm-hmm.
in that same world, a woman with a white man is running for president.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we say there's justice? How can we say, there's any level of peace when we live in this duality where aligning yourself with whiteness can get you to be a presidential candidate,
Mm-hmm.
and in the same world, we got sisters being unalived in their kitchen.
Right.
To
Oh
me,
yeah,
that's
she was
wild.
a prosecutor here, the attorney general. She had to be sued because her brother was on death. Oh, I'm sorry, unalive row,
Mm-hmm.
F1, and it had to be sued to get the information to save his life because he was to be let go, and she
Yeah.
blocked it. And
Mm.
that's just one instance. It's a bunch of brothers she did that too to keep them in jail longer after their sentence when they were supposed to be let out.
Well, we got Gene up here. What's good, cousin?
Hello, my name's Gene, 24, about to be 25 next week.
All right.
He, him, they, their pronouns, and I'm black. Let's see, to answer the first prompt, yeah, swimming the milk is very unethical. And the second one, yes, it's very prejudiced because by having racial preference of people, it's kind of weird. Me personally, I will date only black people. To the Sonia Massey situation, rest in power for her. Um, Seeing that kind of like is very traumatizing because for her to lose her life against a white tea cop was sad, and hearing that the man had like the symbol on his arm confirms like ACAP is necessary, and it kind of shows like racism still alive and well. And this reason why the police needs better training and stuff like that. Yeah, they need to like do background checks on these people because racism is alive and well, and it evolve. To the person who said like Kamala Harris ethical? I mean, hey, look, that's her choice. I got nothing to say about that. But I will say this: for me, I made a live earlier this morning, and I put a topic saying like, "Why y'all afraid of black women?" And I put Michelle Obama, Jasmine Crockett, and Kamala Harris, and I get different reactions to people, and they all was very negative and shows like the level of afraid, well, not a level but like level of bigotry towards women. This one guy said like something about the German woman situation and said like, oh yeah, he basically just saying like white women are aggressive, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I wasn't alive, and they was trying to justify her unaliving, talking about she was gonna do something with the boiling water or whatever. Man, it's crazy how they try to make sense out of violence, but they don't have the empathy required for humanity. Um, Yeah, I'm gonna make another video about Sonya, man. I seen that video. I can't make the video I want to make on TikTok about that video, but I'm gonna make another video. We need to keep raising our voice for that sister. We need to talk about protecting black women and how they don't have protection. You know, even when they themselves call the police, even when they're the victim. It's just very disturbing to watch, and I understand that. But TikTok won't let me say what I gotta say because I know during 2020 they flag a lot of videos that talk about police. I got flagged because I called one of them a pork sandwich. They didn't like that. But anyway, we got a new person up here too. Dober Investment. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Yeah, hey, hold on one second, let me just get to a quiet place. Hold on one sec.
Keep tapping like, y'all. We at 100K
Okay,
yet?
my age is
Yeah.
28. My race, is black. And, well, I'm sorry. Caught me off guard. I'm at work right now. I'm trying to find a place I can be incognito.
Yeah, because you black, I'm incognito.
I'm using my I'll just stay here. My age is 28. My race is black, and my pronouns are he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah, so I was invited on because I asked if Kamala Harris was ethical. So, but I guess to answer the question, are interracial relationships ethical, unethical? I have to disagree. I think you can be in a interracial relationship and be still pro-black. And are interracial dating preferences prejudice? No, if it's a preference, as long as you're not like, saying, oh, I won't date one other race over one, I think it's pretty fine.
Oh, brother.
What it means to be pro-black? Like, do you
What does
really
it mean
know
to be
what it means
pro-black?
to be pro-black? Do you know what it means to be pro-black?
Yeah, to just, advocate for black people to be for black people and
Live for black
uplifting
people,
of.
which means you gotta think black as well. And sleeping with a cave demon ain't thinking black. I don't care how you try to twist it and flip it. We don't have jungle fever. Having jungle fever is not pro-black. You can't name one that slept their way to freedom. Name one. I'll wait. Show me.
Name
Can't do it.
name a
Name one.
pro-black person that
Name one.
slept with a
Name one.
white person.
Then that led to something. Name one. Name one that slept
Uh,
their way to freedom. To
Wasn't
freedom.
Frederick Douglass with a white girl?
So
His
he
second
slept. He
marriage?
was free. He slept his way to freedom. That helped out the majority of black people.
See, the problem is that that's a complete misconstruing of Frederick Douglass's history, because at the end of the day, he didn't
His
marry that
black
white
wife bought him out of slavery, so let's get that
exactly.
straight first.
Exactly. The entirety of
Okay.
who Frederick Douglass was made off of his black wife first. He had all of his children with his black wife, and then when she passed away, when he got of old age, then he married that white woman. But that's way after he had already done the majority of the work of his life.
But so he was still pro-black, right?
No, at
Or
the end of his
No.
life, he stopped being.
You don't think
But he
Frederick
did
Douglass was
that.
pro-black?
Let me say this. Being pro-black is not about, okay, you go do some community service or you give some money or whatever. YT people do that. So that doesn't make you pro-black. Hell, the Triple K's gave Marcus Garvey money. Okay? So did that make them pro-black? I don't think so. So
Well, no, because they
money
were
or
also
anything like
unaliving
that
black
does not
people.
make you pro-black. Because if you're not building a black community, a black family, the whole nine, you're just like any other philanthropic YT person. Because you do a little service, give a little money, okay. And like I said, the Triple K gave Marcus Garvey money. So
I think the issue with the Triple K is that they also unalived a lot of black people. So if they didn't do all the anti-black stuff
and then they still,
Of course
did
they
that.
did. I'm just saying when people say, well, I'm still pro-black because I give money to my community or I do community service or I brought that up about Triple K's because we know who they are, but they gave money to Marcus Garvey. So that doesn't negate who they were and what they stood for. They wanted us to go back to Africa. So that's why they gave Marcus Garvey some money. So that doesn't mean that they're pro-black.
It's easy.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, being black, it means putting your community first. Also thinking black. So that's definitely something that you kind of overlook in there.
I would love to kind of go back and forth. I'm actually at work, so I'll come back a little bit later, y'all. Peace.
He's out.
Yeah, real quick. I know this man's opposition, but please let's not use ableism against him.
What you mean?
No, I said let's not use ableism against him. I mean, I know we don't like him. I'm talking about in the comment section because someone called him SLOW. So I was like, oh yeah.
All right. Kemi, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hi, my name is Kemi. I'm 23 and it's she.
And your race?
Oh, black.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah, so I feel like interracial relationships are unethical in the way that that power dynamic of a white person and a black person doesn't just change because you have a ring, or a baby. In fact, I feel like with Kim K and Kanye, I feel like Kim K played on this stereotype that black men are aggressive and violent and mentally unstable and tried to get him institutionalized. And even with Ray J, how she pinned the S tape on him, and the whole time she was in on it with her mom, and she knows that in the media black men are seen as over eshulized, and as do you know what I mean, they're given that racial stereotype, and she played on it. And you can't be blind to it, and you do see the history of it that comes from a lot of white women, even Emmett Till, kind of with that really skewed relationship with black men and with black women and black and white men too. So I feel like it's just naive not to understand the history.
Facts. Absolutely. Well, they ignore the history to make themselves feel comfortable.
Did you see the video where Saint Kim's son gave her the finger?
What?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. They were showing Kim going to the basketball game for her son, Saint, I think his name is, whatever, I don't know. And he's giving her the finger.
Wow.
I was hollering. I was like,
Yeah.
And the thing is, like you mentioned before with Frederick Douglass and all of these men, black women helped them build them to that spot. And even Kanye said in his own song, though he'll end up leaving you for a white woman. And look at how his white woman treated him.
And he's still falling for it. He's still going for him. Parading her around like a porn star.
he got a new one.
She can't keep her clothes on. That's what's weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that. There's definitely some fetish going on there.
Right. That's all.
Well, it came out on with his employee. He has a lawsuit. He's into race play. So he was texting her things that are specific to her whiteness. He fetishizes white women, and especially OF workers, any woman that's in that. That's why it's been with Amber Rose. Kim, we all know, we've all seen her tape. So do you know what I mean? So he has a thing for white women who are out there.
Yeah. But my thing is, the woman that he married, was she unclothed, walking in the streets with her white man? or does she only feel comfortable when she do that with her black man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, because that's not something they do in their community. But
Mm-mm.
when they get with us, anything goes.
Real.
All right, y'all. Well, we had a productive live tonight, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Big up to all my moderators, Smart Sister, Poetic Logic, Black Facts Matter, Shaka, Sister Kimmy. Thank you for contributing to the conversation. I'm gonna cut this live short. Sister Stella, what's going on, Auntie? And oh man, thank you for helping us reach the gift goal. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, you can join us in the Discord, b1initiative.org. The link is in my bio. Cruzanne Rose, appreciate you, Queen. And Vicky, what's going on? Yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow. Free Congo, free Haiti, free Sudan, free the brothers and sisters in Nigeria and in Kenya, free the brothers and sisters on the continent so that we all might be free. Free the brothers and sisters in Brazil, Jamaica, here in the United States, and Dominican Republic, wherever black people exist, let them be free. And justice for Sonia Massey. We're gonna raise your voice. We're gonna speak your name, Queen. Y'all keep it going. If you see anything about Sonia Massey, make sure that it's truthful. Retweet it. You know what I'm saying? Repost it. Let brothers and sisters know what's going on with our sister. And we'll be back tomorrow. Black liberation, black laws for black liberation for all black people. And peace. I'm out. Black power.
Shame.